Shortstop is Anthony Volpe. He's hitting 7th. Hitting 8th is Austin Wells. He's doing the catching tonight. And batting 9th is Oswaldo Cabrera. He's at 3rd base. On the mound is 38-year-old Carlos Carrasco.
Longtime Cleveland Guardian, also time with the New York Mets. Carlos Carrasco, in his first year with the Yankees, he is 2-1 with a near 6.5 ERA in 6 games, 5 starts. Made the team, made a relief appearance, and then went in to the rotation. He's in this rotation because of injuries. No one is going to dance around that fact. But he has provided some good starts for New York, despite the numbers being inflated.
Yeah, it's a little bit up and down, and I think the Yankees expected that. They don't expect him to be the Carlos Carrasco of 2015 when he was very, very dominant, and that fastball was in the mid-90s with all kinds of movement. He's exactly what they expected. A good start, an okay start, a good start, a bad start. Let's see what he does tonight.
6'4", 224-pound Venezuelan right-hander walks up the hill, and Bo Bichette steps into the box. Blue Jays are in their royal blues gray pants today. The Yankees in the classic pinstripes. Carrasco onto the hill, adjusts the brim of his cap, standing on the first base side of the rubber. He comes set. Right-hander brings the glove up, kicks and deals. And a first pitch fastball is called a strike to get ahead 0-1. Time of the first pitch today, 7:08 Eastern. It's 19 degrees and cloudy in New York. The 0-1. Swing and a ground ball foul, third base side, 0-2.
And there was that sinker, that sinker that moves all over the place. That one started off the plate outside, kind of sank to the inside part of the plate. The only thing Bo could do is hit it foul there.
2 fastballs for Carrasco. That sinker and a 4-seamer. Slider's a big pitch for him. Changeup is as well. 0-2. Down and away through the slider. He'll also feature a curveball at times, the righty Carrasco. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Carrasco to Bo Bichette. Bichette with a .296 average, still looking for the first homer. 8 doubles. Swings at the 1-2 and flares it out to right center. That's a base hit for Bo Bichette as it drops in and one hops into the glove of Trent Grisham.
And Bo Bichette actually broke his bat on that pitch. It was a sinker inside. You could see just how much that ball moves, but Bo Bichette's so strong, just dumping that thing out in front of Trent Grisham for a leadoff base hit here.
Early hit is nice for the Blue Jays after very few hits overall in Houston. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Runner on first, no outs. A check at first by Carrasco. A long look over to first. And now he's going to deal. Fastball down the middle, strike 1. Vladdy hitting .277. 6 doubles and a homer, 10 RBIs. The 0-1. Hit off the end of the bat foul, 0-2.
Bo Bichette does have 2 stolen bases this season, although I don't imagine he'll be stealing during this at-bat.
Blue Jays have run a bit this year. Might be tough during this weekend series. Austin Wells behind the plate is pretty good at controlling the run game. 0-2. Down and in.
And so far this at-bat, Carlos Carrasco has been really good at holding the baseball, making Bo Bichette feel uncomfortable over there, and probably making Vlad feel uncomfortable in the batter's box.
For Carrasco, this is his 282nd career start, his 330th game overall in the big leagues. Over 1,600 innings for the righty, who deals home and misses low with a changeup. Tough take from Guerrero. That looked like a strike until a couple feet in front of the plate when it dropped down.
Yeah, but you can tell his stuff just isn't the same. It doesn't have the same bite, doesn't have the same velocity. He's going to have to pitch backwards if he's going to have any kind of success today.
2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to chase the slider down and away, 1 out.
And that pitch was actually a ball out of the hands, and that's the pitch that Vlad tends to swing at when he's not really seeing the baseball all that well. You can see it out of the hand, away off the plate, and he kind of just waves at it for strike 3.
So Guerrero set down. Carlos Carrasco back on the hill, looking at it. Anthony Santander with Bichette on first, 1 out. No score in the top of the first inning. The pitch. Called strike. John Tumpane handling the balls and strikes tonight. Brendan Miller at first, Chris Conroy at second, and Jeremy Rehack at third. Switch hitter Santander batting left. Step off and throw over to first. Bichette back in with a dive.
No place like Yankee Stadium for a power-hitting lefty to get going with that short porch in right field.
314 feet to the pole in right. 318 to the pole in left. Another throw over. Checks on Bichette on back-to-back pitches. And so Carrasco's used his free 2 step-offs now, and maybe Bo Bichette thinks about extending the lead.
I could see him taking off here, especially with 1 out in this inning. Getting into scoring position with less than 2 outs is pretty big.
Dancing around at first, Bichette. The 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
It certainly looked like he was thinking about going, like you said, dancing around at first base.
Shuffling back and forth, extending his lead, retracting it, extending it again. Bichette held on by Paul Goldschmidt. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Santander out in front of the changeup, 1-2.
I'm sure Bo is thinking about going, but it's just so hard right now, at least, to get a read on Carrasco. He's holding the baseball really, really long. It's like 4 or 5 seconds, making him feel uncomfortable over there at first base.
1-2. Hit on the ground right at the shortstop. Flipped over to second for 1. Back to first. That's actually a 5-4-3 double play. Oswaldo Cabrera, the third baseman, was playing near short. Picked it up, flipped to Volpe. Volpe over to first to end the inning. No runs on a hit. Nobody left for the Blue Jays. No score. Middle of the first. Jose Berrios takes the mound next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Breaking news must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Sprinting back, Varsho curling at the track. He leaps, and he made the catch!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Jose Berrios on the hill. Throws the first pitch to Trent Grisham. It's popped up behind the plate, and Alejandro Kirk there to make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out.
And how about that? Right down the middle. That was a 92-mile-an-hour fastball for Jose Berrios. You'll take that all day long.
For Berrios, it's his 6th start of the year, 1-1. With a 5.02 ERA. Quick out for the right-hander, and he'll get a fresh baseball before he faces the right fielder for the Yankees, 2-time MVP and Rookie of the Year, Aaron Judge. The pitch home. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. Judge hitting a whopping .415 this year. 7 doubles, 7 homers, 26 RBIs in 26 games. 0-1. Fouled off to the right. He went outside first and then inside with the sinker. It's 0-2.
Yeah, he ate up Aaron Judge with that sinker on the inside part. It's really scary to go in there, especially to a guy like Aaron Judge, but it's very necessary. You have to throw inside.
Ahead of him, 0-2. Berrios deals and just misses down and away with a 94-mile-per-hour fastball.
By the way, Aaron Judge has 5 career home runs against Jose Berrios, including the postseason.
The 1-2. Low with a cutter that time. Doesn't usually throw the cutter down. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I wouldn't mind if they tried to go back in.
Berrios kicks and offers. Called. Strike 3. Dropped the changeup on the knees. Judge didn't like it. The strike box did. And there are 2 down.
That was a great pitch. They came back in, but they didn't come back in with a fastball. They came back in with an incredible changeup. Perfectly located down and in. Just clips the corner of that strike box. What a pitch.
Very nice start for Berrios. 2 outs, space is empty, no score, bottom of the first, and his pitch to the left-handed hitter Ben Rice. Low ball 1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth alongside Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. 23rd game of the season for Ben Rice. 288 hitters, 6 home runs. 1-0. First slurve of the day lands in for strike 1.
Ben, how would you feel if you were on the mound and Alejandro Kirk called an inside changeup with Aaron Judge standing in the batter's box?
I don't even have a concept of how I'd feel. I'm going to be honest. 1-1. Fastball called to strike 1 and 2. How would you feel?
I would probably start to sweat a little bit. How about that?
Did you wave it off maybe?
Just throwing it. No, I mean, I would throw it. It just has to be located perfectly.
2 outs and the 1-2 to Rice. Called. Strike 3. 10 pitches, 2 punch-outs, so 1-2-3, bottom of the first for Jose Berrios. No score after 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Heard of you?
Shelley Roll,
Dylan Scott,
Dasha,
Luke Combs,
and more
will light up the desert at Stagecoach 2025 all weekend.
SiriusXM takes you there with live performances and all the action backstage.
Stagecoach is phenomenal.
Music's fantastic. People are fantastic. This is America, baby.
Stagecoach 2025, now throughout the weekend.
Exclusively on the highway.
Channel 56.
And at home with SiriusXM on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Your home for golf's biggest events is PGA Tour Radio.
It's a Grand Slam roar at Augusta National. Rory McIlroy, he's the 6th in the history of the game to enter golf's greatest group.
Deep down, I always believed that I had the game to win here at Augusta. You know, it was touch and go at times today, but thankfully I was able to get the job done.
PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite club.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Network.
Top of the second, Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. No score between Toronto and New York. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Carlos Carrasco inside to George Springer with the first pitch of the inning. It rolls away into the backstop, 1-0. Pretty quick work for both starters in this game in the first inning. Now Carrasco faces off with George Springer, cleanup hitter and center fielder. Swings and misses at a slider, 1-1. Springer batting .333, .956 on base plus slugging. 6 doubles, a triple, and
Great base running right there from Austin Wells.
Cabrera hit it to a good spot. He hit it into the gap, not hard enough for extra base hits, but hard enough that it took a while for Nathan Lucas to track it down, and because of that, Wells went 180 feet. So first and third, one out. Trent Grisham back up. Berrios' pitch. Called strike. Back toward the left-handed hitter with a slurve to get ahead 0-1.
You can see Trent Grisham nodding his head. That was a good pitch, and he knows it.
You want to get him on the ground. About average sprint speed for Trent Grisham. 0-1. Fouled off of Kirk, and it pops up into the seats out of play. 0-2.
And if I'm Jose Berrios, I'm going for the strikeout here. I'm not messing around throwing anything in the zone. I'm trying to go fastball up out of the zone or bounce something and let Kirk be a wall back there.
No score, bottom of the third. Wells on third base, Cabrera on first base. And there's one out. Grisham taps the plate. No batting gloves for the left-handed hitter. The 0-2. Just inside through that front hip sinker, and it was about half an inch away from getting back over the plate.
Kirk did such a good job framing that pitch. Obviously didn't fool home plate umpire John Tumpane. That's a great pitch and a great frame job.
Still has some pitches to work with here, ahead 1-2. Berrios twists and offers. High fastball at 95, his hardest pitch of the day, but he missed too high. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And you could tell what they're trying to do with those last 2 fastballs, the elevated fastball. They're not trying to mess around. They're not trying to have Grisham barrel that ball up. They want to strike out here in this situation.
Grisham entered today hitting .320, 6 home runs. 2-2. Fouled off of Alejandro Kirk's right knee. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Second year with the Yankees for the mustache-wearing Trent Grisham, former Brewer and Padre. Twice a Gold Glover, typically known as more of a defensive player, but he's hitting leadoff right now for the Yankees. Going to reset the clock as well. Trent Grisham actually in his first game back returning from the paternity list. He and his wife just welcomed in their first child. Pant legs hiked up for Grisham, exposing the socks. He's back in the box, and here's the 2-2 from Jose Berrios. Down and in, ball 3. From 0-2, Grisham has worked the count to 3-2.
A good pitch here would be a changeup right down the middle, and he'll probably hit into a double play, hit a weak ground ball somewhere. I don't know if Jose will throw that pitch, but if you can throw a strike with a changeup in this situation, it is perfect for a double play.
The payoff pitch. Hit on the ground right side. Guerrero has it, throws to the plate, and the tag applied to Wells for the out. Vladdy had a choice to try and turn 2 or go home. He opted to go to Alejandro Kirk. Fed him a strike, and Wells was out by a couple of steps. Fielder's choice, and it's 1st and 2nd now. 2 outs, still no score.
Well, I think the Blue Jays realize they know that that's a huge run standing out at third base. They all know what's happening with the offense. They know that the offense is sputtering just a little bit. So Vlad with the heads-up play, cutting that runoff at home plate, a big out in this ballgame.
If you didn't hear it already from the Yankees fans, the MVP is up. 2-time MVP Aaron Judge First and second, 2 outs.
I thought Ben Rice was coming to the plate for a second.
No score, bottom of the third. Berrios deals home. First pitch hit foul. It's a high heater hit off to the right. High heater for everyone else, kind of thigh high for Aaron Judge, the 6'7" monstrous right fielder. Eye black on for Judge as usual. White batting gloves, two-tone bat with a black barrel. The 0-1. Slurve down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Judge 0 for 1 today, struck out on a changeup in the first. The 1-1 pitch. Hit hard left side, but right at Ernie Clement on the ground. He throws over to first and ends the inning. Nice recovery from Berrios after it was first and third, 1 out. He keeps the Yankees to no runs on 2 hits, strands a pair, and keeps it scoreless as we go to the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NBA playoffs are here, and every night on SiriusXM NBA Radio, we're breaking it all down.
They pass it, they shoot it. Defensively, they have 0 weaknesses.
After the games, your expert analysis of all the key moments.
This was the type of game that every fan of basketball is begging for.
And join the discussion.
Let me tell you something. I am hyped up.
We're live every night of the NBA playoffs on SiriusXM NBA Radio, Channel 86 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former general manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former big league GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
From dramatic walk-offs.
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
To jaw-dropping web gems.
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
College softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on SiriusXM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on SiriusXM or streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
It's the 4th inning, presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19-plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. The pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. right on the inside corner. Out of the hand of Carlos Carrasco, strike 1. 0-0 game, top of the 4th. Both teams with 2 hits and no runs. 0-1. Downstairs. Typically, this is a ballpark that has been very kind to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Memories of that 3 home run game, 2 of them coming off Garrett Cole a couple years back. 1-1. Inside 2-1. But in general, a .959 on base plus slugging, well above his career average. 14 home runs in 42 games at Yankee Stadium for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The 2-1. Well outside, ball 3.
That's a good take. He swung at a pitch outside off the plate in his last at bat. And that was a good take there. It was almost a similar pitch, similar location. And he was able to lay off.
Carrasco deals. Guerrero takes low, ball 4. Leadoff walk for Vladdy, his 15th walk of the season.
And how about that? That was actually a fist pump from Vlad running down to first base. I don't know if you caught that. That tells me that he's pretty excited to take that walk there against Carrasco.
He, like the rest of the Blue Jays, had a tough last series. Maybe just staying disciplined that time over not doing it in his first plate appearance. The big win there for Vlad. Leadoff walk, usually a good omen if you're trying to score some runs. Now the pitch to Santander is lined and caught on a dive by Jazz Chisholm. second baseman flew over to his left to take it away from what looked like a sure base hit.
That is just bad luck. A spinning slider right over the middle of the plate. Santander hit that thing on these screws in the hole, but Jazz Chisholm was in the perfect spot. Nice little dive for the first out of the inning. That's heartbreaking for Santander.
The only consolation for the Blue Jays that Guerrero didn't get doubled off on a play that you easily could get doubled off on. Now George Springer swinging at the first pitch, hits it foul, 0-1.
Carrasco was pumped after that play, screaming at Jazz Chisholm.
And the difference is huge there. Could have been first and second or first and third. No outs. Instead, it's just a runner on first with one out. I believe they're giving Austin Wells an extra second here. Springer fouled it off the catcher for New York. George Springer hitting for the second time today. Popped up in foul territory to the third baseman Oswaldo Cabrera back in the second. Wells is ready to go. He's in the crouch. Springer in the box with Vladdy on first. 0-1. Inside. You're walking around the clubhouse today, you haven't faced Carlos Carrasco much, you probably go up and talk to George Springer. Faced him 22 times coming into this game. 1-1. Swing and a sharp grounder, foul just wide of the bag at third. 1-2. Springer is 5 for 22 coming into this game against Carrasco, 2 doubles and 6 strikeouts. Of course, would have seen him mostly in his prime with Cleveland.
So then, don't talk to George Springer.
Yeah, I just, you get bits and pieces.
This guy throws 95 with sink. No, not the same guy.
Step off throw to first. Vladdy back in with the dive. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Another punch out on the slider, second of the day. 2 down.
That might have been Carrasco's best slider of the day. It looked like a fastball until it got to home plate, and then just took a quick left turn. That's a good pitch. You see George Springer not happy with that one, kind of taking a practice swing as he went back to the dugout, but that's his best slider of the day so far.
2 down now, still a runner on first, and the pitch to Andres Jimenez. Bounce to the plate, backhanded pick by Wells. Let's quickly look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night, wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome. First, the 1-0. Down and away, 2-0. One AL East game not going to happen today. Baltimore was supposed to take on Detroit, but that game is postponed due to weather on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. 2-0. Called strike. Actually, 2 postponed AL East games. Also, Boston at Cleveland. 2-1. Former Guardian Andres Jimenez takes down and in. 3 balls and 1 strike. Vladdy on first base after the leadoff walk. No score, 2 outs, top of the 4th. Carrasco kicks and fires and misses way outside. Ball 4, second walk of the inning.
That's a big at-bat for Andres Jimenez. A good take there for ball 4. Wasn't antsy, wasn't trying to do too much. There are 2 outs in this inning, though, so Alejandro Kirk will have to come up with a big 2-out base hit with Vlad standing in scoring position at second base.
Matt Blake, the pitching coach, is going to go out to the mound, talk to his starter, Carlos Carrasco. Pitch count is in a very nice spot right now for Carrasco at 54. Typically, you would not expect him to go very deep, though. Through 75 in his last start, and his season high is 82. So it wouldn't be a shocker if you saw someone like former Blue Jay Ryan Yarbrough appear in a game like this if Carrasco isn't allowed to go third time through. Blue Jays with their first runner in scoring position of the game. First and second, 2 outs, top of the 4th inning. Toronto desperate for an offensive spark. Outscored 31-9 in their 5-game losing streak. See if they can get it here from Alejandro Kirk. Catcher steps up. Guerrero on second. Jimenez on first. 2 outs. Right on right, the pitch. Down and away, ball 1.
Good take right there. I like this matchup. He's a guy that doesn't throw very hard. Alejandro Kirk is able to put the bat on the baseball a lot of the time. Let's see if he can go the other way with some authority and score Vlad from second base.
It's got a hole in between Chisholm and Goldschmidt. 1-0. Swing and a fly ball, right center field. Judge rumbling forward, makes the catch, and ends the inning. No runs on no hits. The 2 walks left on base. No score. Middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
I led Canada through the global financial crisis. Today, we also face big challenges. The 2 men running to lead us both once worked for me, and my choice unequivocally is Pierre Poilievre. Only Pierre is putting forward an actual plan to make life affordable, make our streets safer, and put us in a strong position in dealing with the U.S. Only Pierre will bring change. Please join with me in voting Conservative.
Authorized by the Chief Agent of the Conservative Party of Canada. Breaking news come at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Jose Berrios with a trio of strikeouts to end a scoreless 6.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Julia Kreutz, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Tom Young, our technical director. 0-0 game as we start the bottom of the 4th inning. Jose Berrios looking for a quieter 4th than he had in the 3rd. We'll start with Ben Rice. Open stance for the left-handed hitting DH. Berrios is pitched. Hit on the ground, right side, picked up at second by Jimenez, pumping a throw over to first for the out.
Well, that's a good start. 4-seam fastball at the bottom of the strike zone. A nice, easy ground ball. 1 pitch, 1 out for Jose Berrios. 46 pitches in the ballgame now.
He's only worked himself into 2 3-ball counts so far. He's second time through the order, facing the cleanup hitter, right-handed hitter, Paul Goldschmidt. Clean-shaven Goldschmidt lifts the bat above his right shoulder. Berrios' pitch. Backdoor sinker, strike 1. Obviously a notable pickup when the Yankees signed Goldschmidt on the 1-year, $12.5 million deal this offseason. 0-1. Hit foul, 0-2. And it was interesting when different people were asked about him coming into the season. You might notice a theme. In spring, Nolan Arenado said, quote, "You get a professional, someone that takes pride in their work." Max Fried, who had pitched against him, said, quote, "Just very much a professional." 0-2. Down and away, 1-2. Fried went on to say he's going to take what you give him, and he obviously is strong and makes a lot of solid contact. And then Aaron Judge on Paul Goldschmidt in the spring. Quote, "Professional is exactly the right description." Feels like this guy could have been a Yankee for a long time. 1-2. Swing and a high pop-up. Shallow left center field. Bo Bichette, the shortstop on the grass, makes the catch. 2 outs.
Well, I don't know Paul Goldschmidt at all, but I would imagine that
He's a professional.
That he's a professional, and all those things are true. Just watching him over the years and the way he goes about his business, but what a talent.
Not a very loud player, but clearly a leader on all the teams he's played on. One of the great Diamondbacks of all time. 2 outs, no one on. The pitch to Cody Bellinger. Outside, ball 1.
So you think him and Jazz Chisholm get along well?
Honestly, I bet they do.
Probably.
I don't think they hang out that much, but I bet they do.
Yeah, you never know.
They might.
Go to a nice restaurant in Manhattan or something.
1-0. Called strike, 1-1. In clubhouses you were in, were the different ages hanging out like that? I mean, Goldschmidt's one of the older guys on the team. Chisholm's one of the younger guys.
I'll tell you the weirdest friendship I ever saw, and it was a great friendship. It was AJ Burnett and Jeff Locke. I don't know if you remember Jeff Locke, but Jeff Locke, he was an all-star, I think, in 2013. Left-handed starter.
1-1. Hit foul, 1-2.
And they were really, really close, really, really good friends. I think AJ was maybe 36 at the time. Jeff Locke was maybe 22 or 23, something like that. But they were friends because of The Walking Dead. They would spend every Sunday night watching The Walking Dead together. It was the strangest thing, but it was fun to watch.
The 1-2. Hit foul, still 1-2. Well, that's incredibly 2013.
Hey, it's still going on.
I guess so. Left-handed hitting Bellinger, 0 for 1. Struck out on a slurve in the second. Berrios ahead of him, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The righty's pitch. Lined right field, base hit. Barger cuts it off on a bounce. Cody Bellinger extends this bottom of the 4th with the 3rd Yankee hit today.
That was a really good job by Cody Bellinger going down and getting that slurve, kind of a spinning slurve. Didn't have a ton of break on it. Cody Bellinger was out in front, but was able to keep the hands back and find the barrel to that baseball.
So Bellinger on first. He can run. 3 stolen bases this year. And Jazz Chisholm Jr. up to the plate. First full season as a Yankee, the pitch. Hit foul, 0-1. Chisholm back at his natural position, at least at the start of his career, at second base. Played a lot of third last year, accommodating Gleyber Torres.
And he's looked good. He's looked pretty good tonight.
Made a diving catch in the top half of the inning, taking a hit away from Santander. The 0-1. Outside. Chisholm at the plate, though, has been super up and down. As boom or bust as you'll probably find around baseball right now. He's hitting 163, but he has 7 home runs. The 1-1. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
7 home runs, 15 RBIs.
At the same time, though, he's hitless in 12 of his 22 starts in this month. And in all the starts that he has a hit, he has only 1 hit in those games. The 2-1. Slurve low, 3-1.
I think if you're a Blue Jays fan, you'd probably take that.
Yeah, I would agree.
You take those power numbers for sure.
I mean, it all comes together for about a league average on base plus slugging, just under 700. Step off throw to first. Bellinger all over that. Just step back on rather than dive back into first base.
Cody Bellinger does have 3 stolen bases this year, so there's an outside chance he goes here.
Torpedo bat in the hands of Chisholm, waving it over his left shoulder. The 3-1. Ball 4. Bellinger was off on the pitch, but it doesn't matter. It's a walk to Chisholm. Back-to-back base runners for the Yankees with 2 outs.
I don't mind that pitch there. That was a 3-1 changeup. If you can throw that pitch, like I've said a million times, if you can throw that pitch right down the middle, it's such an effective pitch. And it kind of just tailed a little bit too much off the plate for ball 4.
First walk of the start for Berrios on his 60th pitch. Now he'll face Anthony Volpe, first and second, 2 outs. No score, bottom of the 4th. Berrios looks at second, deals. And it's a slurve down and away, ball one. Volpe hit a ball pretty hard in the third inning, but lined out to left field. The 1-0. Swing and a miss through the slurve in the zone, and it's 1-1. Another very pronounced torpedo bat for Anthony Volpe. Thicker in the middle. It's thinner again right near the end of the bat. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a fly ball center field. Springer jogging back. Has some room about 5 feet in front of the track. He stops and makes the catch to end the inning. No runs for the Yankees. One hit. They leave two on for the second straight inning. It's 0-0 going to the fifth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Jazz, born in America, celebrated worldwide. And this month, some of the brightest stars shine in exclusive live performances across SiriusXM. Hear legends Bob James and Lee Ritenour, the 2025 NEA Jazz Masters Concert, and more. It's Jazz Appreciation Month throughout April on Watercolors Channel 66, Real Jazz Channel 67, and listen at home with the SiriusXM app. From dramatic walk-offs
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
to jaw-dropping web gems,
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
college softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on SiriusXM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on SiriusXM or streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
It's the fifth inning, brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Jose Berrios doing his job. He's stranded 4 runners in the last 2 innings. The Blue Jays, though, not providing so far. 0-0 is the score. Bottom third of the Blue Jays order to bat this inning. Before we get going in the inning, I think Austin Wells' PitchCom device is not working right now, so he's going to get a new one. Carlos Carrasco waiting to get back on the hill. Right-hander has been good today. He's given up 2 hits and 2 walks. Stranded 3 runners overall. For Carrasco, it's his 11th start, 12th appearance against the Blue Jays. He's 5-2 in his career against Toronto with an ERA of 4.70. Faced the Blue Jays twice last year. As he, Wells, and John Tumpain continue to talk about the technology.
How do you think Carrasco feels right now? Who was a guy, he played the majority of his career before the PitchCom, and now he's obviously in the era of the PitchCom. I mean, I would be so frustrated if I was him. Hey, just use the fingers, man. Throw down a 1, I'll throw a fastball. Throw down a 2, I'll throw a curveball.
Very possible, although no one can steal the signs now.
Well, maybe he's not as irritable as I am.
There's a chance. 2019 Roberto Clemente Award winner for public service, Carlos Carrasco. Now he's ready to go, and the pitch to Addison Barger is a curveball for strike 1. Carrasco, though, 2 very different appearances against the Blue Jays last year. A week apart. June 15th at Rogers Center, gives up 5 earned runs in 5 innings. He sets in the 0-1 outside. Then 6 days later at Progressive Field, he goes 6 innings, 1 run, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. You could argue it was his best start of the year. The only issue he had in that one was a solo homer to Vlad in what otherwise was a comfortable Cleveland win. 1-1 is hit well by Barger. Right center field. Grisham sprinting back, and it's over his head and off the base of the wall. Barger to second. He'll stop there. He thought about third as it was bobbled by Grisham, but it's a leadoff double for Addison Barger and a big hit in this scoreless game for the Blue Jays.
Well, that actually wasn't a terrible pitch from Carrasco. It was a sinker down and away, almost on the black. And Addison Barger goes down and hammers that thing to center field. It looked like Trent Grisham actually overran it out there in right center. Pretty big break for Addison Barger and the Toronto Blue Jays.
Crazy thing is, I think Barger got that off the end of the bat and still hit it onto the warning track.
Sounded like it.
He's on second. Ernie Clement is up. Corners pinched in. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He had a hanging slider, but was out in front of it 0-1.
Yeah, you could see that front shoulder go flying from Ernie Clement. He knew that was a hanger and tried to do a little bit too much with it.
The 0-1. Hit in the air, shallow left center field. Caught by Anthony Volpe, the shortstop. 1 out. Blue Jays elected not to bunt in that situation, and because of that, Barger's still on second base after the pop-out.
I don't mind that. I mean, bunting with a guy on second base, nobody out, you're already in scoring position. At some point, you have to trust that guys can get a base hit or a broken bat blooper or something. I mean, if you're John Schneider, I feel like you have to at least trust that.
First pitch to Nathan Lucas, called to strike 0-1. And you do have three pretty solid contact hitters, Bichette, Lucas, Bo Bichette, that will have a shot here. You think Ernie Clement maybe gets a single, if not Lucas, if not Bo Bichette. So Lucas takes up and away, it's 1-1. Lucas already has a single today. He's 1 for 1. He slapped the ball through the left side of the infield in the third inning. Barger on second, 1 out. Carrasco kicks and fires. Lucas lifts a ball, shallow left. Coming in, Bellinger steps toward the line, makes the catch, 2 down.
And also kind of in defense of John Schneider not bunting in that situation, I think you have to look at who's on the mound as well. If it was Hunter Brown, maybe bunt in that situation because getting base hits is really hard to come by. But against a guy like Carlos Carrasco, very hittable, slower velocity guy, I feel like just let your guys swing away. But you can see he looks a little bit frustrated in that dugout right now for sure.
2 outs. Barger's still on second. The pitch to Bo Bichette. Called a strike. This was runner on second, nobody out. So if they don't score him, it's the kind of situation you look back at after a game. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. But you do have Bo Bichette up. He's 1 for 2 today, hitting an even .300 on the season. And consistently in his career has been a very good hitter with runners in scoring position. 1-1. Hit on the ground to first base. Goldschmidt has it, steps on the bag, and ends the inning. Leadoff double, stranded on second. No score, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell joined us at the 2025 NFL Draft.
The game evolves, so let's just start with the kickoff.
What we achieved last year, I think, was obviously a different structure. Moving it out to the 35 on a touchback, as you look at the analytics and coaches, and Andy Reid told me this, if it was at 35, I would be kicking it into the kicking zone. And that's what I think is going to happen. We believe it'll go up significantly.
SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Jack Links 500 from Talladega Superspeedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Your home for golf's biggest events is PGA Tour Radio.
It's a Grand Slam roar at Augusta National. Rory McIlroy, he's the 6th in the history of the game to enter golf's greatest group
Deep down, I always believed that I had the game to win here at Augusta. You know, it was touch and go at times today, but thankfully I was able to get the job done.
PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. Stop me if you've heard this before. It's a pitcher's duel as the Blue Jays and Yankees are tied at 0 going to the bottom of the 5th.
You didn't actually want me to stop you, did you?
No, I didn't. Jose Berrios to Austin Wells. First pitch down and away, ball 1. Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue. Wells 1 for 1 today as one of the 3 Yankees singles. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Good change from Jose Berrios. Obviously, the Blue Jays want to get the bats going. That's biggest focus around the team, but defended well, pitched well so far. 1-1. Ground ball hit up the middle and through the hole into right center field. Single for Wells. He's 2 for 2.
It's a big first hit in this inning. It was a changeup that was left up. You probably want that pitch down, but still, that was just a seeing eye single right back up the middle. Austin Wells will take it, though.
Berrios' head dropped down to the ground for a moment after giving that one up. First leadoff base runner of the game for the Yankees. Switch hitter Oswaldo Cabrera has a base hit today as well. He's up in the pitch. Inside. Cabrera batting left, which is typically by far his better side. But this season hitting .231 against right-handed pitching. Hitting better the other way. 1-0, hit foul off his ankle. He stumbled down to the ground for a moment, popped right back up, and now he's running around out of the dirt circle. Looked like a painful one for Cabrera.
Well, he wears a big shin guard almost up to his knee, but I think it got him on the end of the toe. It's a tough place to get hit.
Still walking around.
Oof. Big toe, maybe?
Looked like it on his right foot. He's back in the box. Open stance, left side. The 1-1. Bunt shown, and it's popped up. Caught by Berrios. Throw to first, trying to double off Wells. Skipped away, but not far enough for Wells to advance. That kind of looked like a bunt for a base hit. The bat was put out there pretty late, if anything, an in-betweener between a sacrifice and bunt for a base hit. But Cabrera got under it. The Gold Glover Berrios made the play, and there's one down.
That's actually a tough place to be when you're in between, when you're maybe sacrificing, maybe trying to bunt for a base hit. But nonetheless, that is a big, big out in this inning, in this ball game for Jose Berrios. Pretty nice play, trying to get that double play at first base off of Austin Wells as well.
Pitch now to Trent Grisham. Outside ball 1. Yeah, he had to come in. You're falling off as you deliver, and then he had to come in, catch it underhanded, maybe just a foot or 2 feet above the grass. Looking for a ball on the ground here now. 1 out, runner on third. 1-0. Popped up foul, 1-1. Pardon me, runner on first.
Do you think that's one of those bunts, if you're really, really savvy? And I know Jose Berrios is. You let it bounce, you throw it to first base, and then you get Austin Wells in a rundown? Or do you don't want to mess around?
I think you could pull that off, but yes, it's kind of a risk-reward thing. Right. You just take it out. But I think they probably could have pulled that off because Wells wasn't running right away because the bunt was popped up. The 1-1. Low, 2 balls and 1 strike. That's also maybe a play if you're up 2-0 or down 3-1, 4-1. You can do it, but in a 0-0 game, maybe you don't take your chances. 2-1 pitch. Outside ball 3.
Still would have been fun to see it maybe perhaps executed.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know. Might not have been.
Wells still on first. 3 balls and a strike. 1 out, bottom of the 5th. Berrios kicks and offers. And the pitch is popped up, foul, out of play third base side. Full count.
It was a big swing by Trent Grisham. His helmet actually almost fell off on that swing. That tells you how big it was.
Grisham taps the inside of his right foot, the outside of his right foot with the barrel. Steps back in. Adjusts the elbow pad on his right lead elbow. And the 3-2 pitch. Rounded foul, third base side. Got in on the hands, and Grisham just hit it off the handle the other way.
That sinker just ate him up on the inside. You could see him having a chuckle there. But that tells me that he's expecting something soft away. Why not come back with something hard again?
Another 3-2. Fastball hit foul. They were trying to go away. Left it bottom middle. And Grisham sent it right back into the netting behind home plate.
In terms of velo, that was Berrios' best fastball of the day. 94 miles an hour, but it was kind of middle, maybe knee high, a hittable pitch. Like you said, they were trying to get that thing away.
Runner on first, one out, no score. The third 3-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Forced Grisham to chase the changeup with great movement. 2 down.
3-2 changeup. I don't want to say that's the best pitch in baseball. I always say a 2-0 changeup is the best pitch in baseball, but 3-2 changeup is a close second. That is a great pitch right there with all kinds of movement.
Not out of the woods yet, though. 2 outs, runner on first, and Aaron Judge up for a third time. Berrios offers. Judge lifts it foul. 0-1, and he got away with a hanging slurve right there.
That thing was thigh high right down the middle. Judge just missed it.
John Schneider said before the game that one thing Aaron Judge does really well is understand how pitchers pitch him. They're so careful that it often leads to mistakes, and he rarely misses mistakes. 0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, I'd say on average, and obviously I don't know if there's a stat for this. There might be, but I don't have the stat. I would say almost every at-bat, a hitter will get 1 mistake. It's just whether you take advantage of that. And obviously Aaron Judge is one of the best at taking advantage of mistakes.
1-1. Lined left field, base hit. Fastball on the inside edge. Judge turned around on it. He stops at first, up to second goes Wells. 2 aboard with 2 outs.
And that was not a mistake, but left it up just a little bit. It was inside. It was a fastball at 93 miles an hour. You want to get that down by the knees. But that ball was left about thigh high. And you could see Jose Berrios telling himself, get that ball down, finish that pitch.
All things considered, while you never want to give up a hit, a single to Aaron Judge, though, really isn't the worst result of all. Pete Walker's going to go out for a mound visit. Let's quickly go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. NHL playoff action going on Sportsnet, including the Montreal Canadiens hosting their first game of the playoffs, or first game in Montreal at least, against the Washington Capitals. And just moments ago, Nick Suzuki capitalized on a turnover in front of the goal and backhanded a puck top shelf to give the Canadiens a 2-1 lead in the middle of the second period over Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals.
How about that? Aren't you happy for me?
So overjoyed. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Still no score for the Blue Jays in the Bronx. 0-0 game. First and second, and one of the hotter Yankees hitters this year, Ben Rice, steps up to the plate. He's 0 for 2. Berrios' pitch. Outside, ball 1. Berrios has played a bit of a dangerous game. He stranded a pair in the third, stranded a pair in the fourth. He's trying to do the same thing here in the fifth. Right on left, the 1-0. Foul tip. Probably another hanging slurve he got away with. Rice, a guy who could hit it out. 6 home runs this year, but it's 1-1.
Yeah, Ben Rice just missed that pitch. He was right on it. A little hanging breaking ball from Jose Berrios.
The 1-1. Hit on the ground right at second base. Down on his right knee, picked up by Jimenez. Stands up and throws to first to end the inning. So he does it again. Berrios gives up a pair of hits, but he strands a pair of runners. No score. Headed to the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For a participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
A team's defense is as precious as gold.
Oh, what a catch! A great catch by Dalton Varsho.
Brilliant displays of athleticism, pure talent, instinct, and ability.
And it's caught.
An invaluable defensive presence. He is simply
the best outfielder in baseball.
On Wednesday, May 14th, celebrate this golden honor with the Dalton Varsho Gold Glove bobblehead. Available for the first 15,000 fans in attendance. Your golden chance for tickets awaits at BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Law and Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law and Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law and Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law and Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law and Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kirk smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's good.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 6th, new pitcher for the Yankees. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. After a scoreless start from Carlos Carrasco, the left-handed side armor, Tim Hill is into the game for Aaron Boone's team. Hill, a pickup midway through last year, is now in his first full season with the Yankees. 10 appearances over 11 1/3, a 2.38 ERA. Left on right, he deals to Vlad Guerrero Jr. and hits the inside corner at 88. Strike one. That's about what Hill is going to give you. High 80s, maybe 90-mile-per-hour fastball. 0-1. Outside.
And a really funky motion. He's not quite submarine, a little bit higher than submarine, but he is well below sidearm. Kind of hops at the end of his delivery as well. A lot of fun to watch out there.
Here's 1-1. Swing and a fly ball. Left field. Racing back Bellinger. The ball is gone. Big fly. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and the Blue Jays take an early lead to a chorus of boos at Yankee Stadium. His second home run of the season, a frozen rope into the Blue Jay pen.
Well, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Vladimir Guerrero Jr. broke his bat on that home run. Didn't hit it on the barrel, although he did hit it 108.4 miles an hour, 412 feet, but it sounded like he broke his bat. I didn't think he'd get enough to get it out, but that is a massive home run in this ball game.
First run of the game, and now Anthony Santander batting right, rolls over the next pitch to shortstop. Volpe up with it, throws to first. 1 out.
Did you think that ball was getting out?
No. No, that was a little off the end of the bat. Pitch was kind of down. But Vladdy got enough of it to hit it right to Jimmy Garcia in the bullpen. So 1-0, 1 out. And the lefty Tim Hill dealing now with George Springer. The pitch. Hit on the ground, over the mound, up the middle, running stop Volpe. Throws on the run to first, gets Springer 2 down. First batter that the Blue Jays had against anyone except for Carlos Carrasco, and it results in a home run. Vlad against Tim Hill.
Yeah, and it wasn't a terrible pitch, but like you said, the velo's really not there. That fastball was 88 from Tim Hill. Seemed like Vlad was all over it, maybe a little bit out in front of that slower fastball, but a pretty nice swing from him.
His pitch down to Andres Jimenez, called a strike. Hill gets ahead 0-1. Interesting thing about Hill, who throws the 11th softest sinker and 16th softest four-seamer among all pitchers to deal 100 pitches this year, is he's almost all fastballs. He misses outside with a slider, 1-1. you'll see a ton of heaters from Tim Hill. Occasional slider, occasional cutter, which is also really a fastball. 1-1 pitch hit on the ground to second base. Running stop there by Chisholm, and he throws to first to end the inning. Hill settles down for 3 groundouts, but after the Vlad Guerrero Jr. solo home run, the Blue Jays jump in front 1-0, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Soak up spring love vibes with an all-new mix from The Flow.
Bring the beat in.
Now on the SiriusXM app, featuring 2000s R&B hits from the heart by Ashanti, Usher, and Beyonce. Plus smooth 2010s grooves from Frank Ocean, Janelle Monáe, and more. It's the perfect soundtrack for flings, feels, and everything in between. Just search Spring Love in the SiriusXM app.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
I'm Mike Ferris. If you're like me, you love baseball. You love talking baseball with your friends, and your partner on the radio is the former general manager of the Mets.
This is Jim Duquette. Join me and Mike weekdays at 10 Eastern for Power Alley on MLB Network Radio.
It's baseball, baseball, and more baseball. 100% in-depth baseball talk.
We spent an entire week once on pulled pork recipes.
It's 95% in-depth baseball talk on Power Alley. Weekdays, 10 Eastern, MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 1-0 Blue Jays as we head to the bottom of the 6th. It's Jose Berrios against Paul Goldschmidt. 4-5-6 this inning for New York. Berrios kicks offers, and the first pitch hit high, left field, pretty shallow. Coming in Nathan Lucas, and he'll make a two-handed catch for the first out.
That's a big out in this ball game. This is a big inning, a shutdown inning for Jose Berrios and the Blue Jays pitching staff. A big run in the top half of the inning, a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. home run. You have to come out and you have to put up a 0. You have to pound that strike zone, and Jose Berrios gets one pitch on one out. Sorry, 1 out on 1 pitch.
Now he'll face off with Cody Bellinger. Right on left, the pitch. Down and in, Bellinger dances out of the way of that breaking ball. 1-0. Brendan Little loosening up for the Blue Jays right now. 1-0. Inside 2-0. Also for Berrios, who's been pretty solid if you remove that first start, which you obviously can't remove, but has looked more like himself in the last 4. When his starts have gone wrong, often it's been right near the end of it. Next pitch to Bellinger, called a strike, 2-1. I think back to his last start. He goes 6 innings against Seattle, is allowed to go out for the 7th with the Blue Jays up 3-2, gave up a home run to Ben Williamson that tied the game at 3, got taken out right after. 2-1 pitch. Called a ball. That had all of the plate. And instead of 2-2, it's 3-1.
And Alejandro Kirk, which you don't see very often, he held that ball, letting home plate umpire know that he had, in fact, missed that call. That's kind of showing him up, but
3-1. Low ball 4, and it results in a walk for Bellinger.
Yeah, that's a big call in this ball game, and I think that's why Kirk was so frustrated. And again, you don't really see it that often from him, but he decided to do it in that situation.
Granted, it's been a pretty solid day for John Tempane. I don't think there's been many calls either way, but that one definitely hurt the Blue Jays. Now runner on first and 1 out.
I don't think John Schneider is going to mess around in this situation. You can see Pete Walker on the phone right now. Alejandro Kirk is out there talking to Jose Berrios. I don't know if they're giving him more time or they're trying to figure out a game plan here, but here comes John Schneider.
A bunch of left-handed hitters about to come up for the Yankees. Runs at a premium for the Blue Jays. So it looks like Toronto is about to make a pitching change. Schneider points to the pen. This pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. One out in the bottom of the sixth. Runner on first, 1-0 Blue Jays. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Julia Kreutz.
Thank you, Ben. Let's take a look then at St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Some action in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Starting with the Habs and the Capitals, who are tied at 2 in the second period. 1 goal apiece in each period here to make things even. The Capitals leading the series 2-1. You can catch Game 3 on Sportsnet. The Hurricanes and the Devils are also playing right now. That game is on Sportsnet 360. No scoring yet. Carolina looking for a 3-game lead in that series. And later in the evening, we have the Kings and the Oilers facing off in Edmonton. Puck drops at 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Mountain Time in Edmonton. You can also watch that one on Sportsnet. LA leading the series right now 2-0. And don't forget to stick around after this Blue Jays game tonight. Blair and Barker have Jays talk right after the final out. They'll break down Jose Berrios' start, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s second homer of the season, and whatever else you want to talk about. The text line is wide open. 590-590 is the number. Don't forget to leave your name and location when you text in. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action now with Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Julia. It's Brendan Little on the hill now for the Blue Jays. The left-hander takes over with Toronto up 1-0 on the New York Yankees. And a left-handed hitter in Jazz Chisholm scheduled to hit. Little has been very solid over his last couple appearances. 2.53 ERA on the year in 13 games across 10 2/3.
And again, Cody Bellinger at first base has 3 stolen bases like we talked about earlier. So you have to keep an eye on him. That's a big run standing out there. Nobody out in this ball game.
Berrios done after 5 1/3. Gave up 5 hits in the start. And a couple of walks, including the walk he just issued to Cody Bellinger with 1 out.
Sorry, there's 1 out in this inning.
Sinker, cutter, knuckle curve for the lefty Little, who sits at the belt. Left on lefty deals to Chisholm. Called strike. Runner takes off. Throw to second. He's out. Alejandro Kirk delivers a seed to Bo Bichette, who slapped the tag down on the knee of Bellinger, and they can look at the review, but this one looked pretty academic for the Blue Jays.
Well, that was about as good as it gets. A perfect throw to the ankle of Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette just tags Cody Bellinger right on the knee. I don't think Cody Bellinger got in there.
Neither do the Yankees. They didn't challenge in the next pitch in the dirt. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Big boost for Little in Toronto. The caught stealing the 1-1 in the dirt, 2-1. It's not going to satisfy a lot of people who I understand are looking for more hits, but Alejandro Kirk has really defended well this year behind the plate.
He's a good framer. He's a good blocker. He's been really good with that arm.
The 2-1. Down and away, ball 3.
And I mean, like you said, that probably won't satisfy people's hunger for more offense, but he's probably a big reason why the pitching staff has done so well.
3-1. Hit on the ground up the middle, a base hit into center field. Chisholm single keeps the bottom of the 6th going.
Brendan Little shaking his head, but you kind of just tip your cap. That's just a little seeing eye single up the middle. You have to focus on this next hitter and not worry about Jazz Chisholm at first base. Make a good pitch with that good fastball down in the strike zone.
Chisholm can definitely run. He has 6 stolen bases Pitch to Anthony Volpe in the dirt. Stopped by Kirk with his glove. 1-0. Chisholm's 6 stolen bases, 2 behind the American League leader, Andres Jimenez, with 8. Little kicks and deals. Missed downstairs. 2-0. Brendan Little threw a strike on his first pitch, then 3 straight balls. Then he gave up the base hit. Now 2 straight balls to Anthony Volpe, the shortstop.
And we've seen this a lot this year and last year from Brendan Little. His fastball moves so much that he has trouble controlling it. It's almost like he has to throw that thing right down the middle and then let it work.
2-0. Just low. 3-0. In fairness, Kirk had that target right down the middle, and Little couldn't find the spot.
Yeah, Little's asking John Tumpain, the home plate umpire, is that down? And unfortunately, his answer was yes.
3-0, right down the middle. Runner takes off, throw to second. He got him again! Chisholm pointing back to the Yankee dugout, so we'll wait a second. But for now, Alejandro Kirk single-handedly getting the Blue Jays out of the inning, and the Yankees will not challenge. Back-to-back runners caught stealing, and we go to the 7th. Blue Jays 1, Yankees nothing. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He keeps this game tied
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Alejandro Kirk taking over the game in the bottom of the 6th inning. Threw out back-to-back runners trying to steal to keep the Blue Jays in front 1-0. And what do you know? They'll lead off the top of the 7th against Tim Hill. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Hill, the lefty, fires to Kirk. Called strike, 0-1.
That's such a tough throwing angle. You could see why Tim Hill is so effective with only throwing fastballs, or the majority of the time. That arm angle is just so difficult to pick up.
This is way high with the 0-1. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. It's amazing to think that Tim Hill picked up the Yankees because he was designated for assignment by the White Sox in June. Next pitch hit on the ground right side, past Paul Goldschmidt down the right field line. Single for Alejandro Kirk, who's got his hands all over this game. He's aboard to start the top of the 7th.
Yeah, pretty good swing from him. You could see him trying to go the other way. It was another tough fastball away on the outer third. And Alejandro Kirk trying to shoot that hole on the right side, gets it down the line for a big base hit in this inning.
Breaks an 0 for 15 for Alejandro Kirk. Here's Addison Barger, the pitch. Called strike.
And I guess now is when you think, I know Addison Barger has a double in this ball game, but do you think about bunting Alejandro Kirk over?
0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here would be my concern with it.
Double play.
Well, you just also don't know that Kirk's going to score on a single from second. So is it worth it? 1-1 is bounced softly right side. Goldschmidt up with it, spins, throws to second one. That's the only out they'll get. Fielder's choice for Barger, who replaces Kirk at first with 1 out.
And I agree with what you're saying. I would say I do sacrifice bunt, especially with a left on left. That's a tough matchup for Addison Barger. If anybody else was on base other than Alejandro Kirk.
Going out to the mound, Aaron Boone. He's going to take the ball from Tim Hill, and that means a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 1-0 Blue Jays, 1 out, 1 on, top of the 7th. Let's go back to today's host, Julia Kreutz.
Thank you, Ben. Let's take another look then at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Not a ton of action in the AL East tonight. A couple of postponed games. The Orioles were scheduled to face the Tigers at Comerica Park. The Red Sox were scheduled to go against the Guardians in Cleveland, but a couple of rain-delayed postponements here, and both of these games will be made up tomorrow, so we'll have a pair of double headers to look forward to. Nothing wrong really with some more Saturday baseball here. The Rays are set to face the Padres. A little bit of a late start as that one is in San Diego. First pitch scheduled for 9:40 p.m. Eastern, 6:40 p.m. Pacific. A little earlier in the day, the Cubs beat the Phillies 4-1 at Wrigley Field. That's 5 straight losses for the Phils after they were swept by the Mets, and the Cubs, meanwhile, just continuing their run of success here. The Mets and the Nationals are playing right now. Washington leading 3-0 in the 8th inning there. And later today, we'll also have the Pirates taking on the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Paul Skeens against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. That's going to be a very, very good pitching matchup here. First pitch going at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And you can watch that game on Sportsnet Plus. Don't forget that Blair and Barker have Jays Talk tonight. They're back after a night off on Wednesday. Don't forget to text in at 590. Leave your name and location. I'm sure they will talk about Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Alejandro Kirk's defense behind the plate, and more. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rest Protection. Let's get you back to the action then with Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Julia. Right-hander Ian Hamilton into the game. 7th inning, 1-0 Blue Jays. The 7th inning brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 6th appearance of the year for Hamilton. He's given up 2 earned runs in 7 innings. The right-hander steps on with a runner on first, Addison Barger, and 1 out. His pitch to Ernie Clement. Up and in, ball 1. Really odd thing there from Hamilton, right-hander. Typically as a righty with your back to first, you're going to lean and peek over your left shoulder, the front shoulder. He was turning all the way around in his set position and looking over his right shoulder back at the runner. Step off throw to first, back in there, Barger.
I have to say, Ben, that's a weird one. I've never seen that before. And I don't know if he does it every single time. I'll try to keep my eye on it. And I've seen him pitch a bunch before. I've just never noticed it. That is a strange one.
Righty's 1-0. Hit on the ground, softly to third. Picked up by Cabrera. Throws to second one. Chisholm to first. In time, double play. Job well done by Hamilton. 5-4-3 double play turn by the Yankees to end the top of the 7th inning. Blue Jays are taking a look right now. Will they challenge? It looks like they will not. 7th inning stretch, 1-0 Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong Bird Food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com. BuckMartine.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
Hey, this is Kevin Gosman. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Baseball Control in downtown Toronto. Julia Kreutz here with you. The Blue Jays leading the Yankees 1-0 seventh inning stretch at Yankee Stadium. Let's take a very quick look then at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. The Habs did get another one against the Capitals, so they now lead 3-2 at the end of 2 periods. You can catch that Game 3 on Sportsnet. Habs trying to make up some ground here with the Capitals leading the series 2-0. The Hurricanes and the Devils are also playing, and there's been scoring in that one too. The Devils now leading 1-0. That game you can catch on Sportsnet 360. The Devils also trying to gain some ground, make up some deficit here after falling behind in the series 2-0. And later in the evening, we have the Kings and the Oilers facing off. Puck drops at 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Mountain Time in Edmonton. You can watch that game on Sportsnet. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. It's time to get you back to Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Julia. Kind of an odd play at the end of the inning there. So it cut away, we assume, because the Blue Jays did not challenge it. But what it looks like happened is that Toronto did challenge. However, they still went to the typical God Bless America during the 7th inning stretch, even though there was a chance that it could have gone back to the top of the 7th. And it appeared to me that John Tumpain, while God Bless America was going on, was pressing the earpiece into his right ear to listen to the call right after the players got off the field and the singing was over at Yankee Stadium. They went over, indicated an outside to John Schneider, and now we will go to the bottom of the 7th inning. So they do challenge, but the call ended up standing over at first base on that 5-4-3 inning-ending double play, which means the Blue Jays cling to this 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the 7th.
Do you think that's a first in terms of the history of the replay?
It might be, honestly.
That might be.
Yeah,
I've never seen
it. It's a weird one. Either way, the Blue Jays up 1-0. It looks like Brendan Little is back on the hill for Toronto to take on 7, 8, 9 in the Yankee order. Blue Jays pitching has been good today, but the Yankees, the most dangerous offense in the American League, is going to be tough for Toronto to hold on to this 1-0 advantage. Pitch to Anthony Volpe to start the inning. Line to right field. Barger going back. It's over his head and bouncing into the wall. Barger picks it up. Volpe going for second. The throw into second base. Not in time. It was cut and relayed over there. And Anthony Volpe doubles on the first pitch of the frame.
That was a really, really good swing from Anthony Volpe. It was a tough sinker away, and he just hammered that thing the other way. A really nice swing, a really good approach there, and a big hit in this inning.
First hit of the game for Volpe, 6th double of the year, and the first extra base hit of the game for the Yankees.
Addison Barger made a really nice play, a nice throw to second base. Almost got him.
Jimmy Garcia loosening up for the Blue Jays. Austin Wells is up with the tying run on second, no outs. The pitch. Hit high, center field. Springer backpedaling. Tagging at second base, Volpe. Springer makes the catch in deep left center. Volpe trying to advance. Springer's throw is cut off. It's an out, but the tying run goes to third.
And I don't know if John Schneider will bring Jimmy Garcia up in this situation, but you have to have a guy that can strike guys out with that run standing at third base. Although Brendan Little can strike guys out,
He's been much more of a strikeout pitcher this year. In fact, entered this game with 18 strikeouts in 10 2/3 innings. They will leave him in to turn around Oswaldo Cabrera to his weaker right-handed hitting side. Infield in, the pitch. Curveball outside, ball one. Mentioned this earlier. While Cabrera is typically worse from this side, in his limited chances this year, he is 4 for 9 as a right-handed hitter. 1-0 Blue Jays. Runner on third, one out, infield in. The 1-0. Fouled off of the left shin guard of Alejandro Kirk. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And now that you have a strike, you just have to expand. Fastball's up, curveball's down. You don't want to leave anything that he can barrel up and potentially get through holes on the infield, especially with the infield in. You have to get a strikeout in this situation.
The 1-1. Hit on the ground past the dive of Bichette, a base hit into left. Jogging home, Volpe, and the Yankees tie the game at 1.
And that's really not where you want that curveball. You can see Alejandro Kirk set up down the middle, but you have to throw that thing out of the strike zone, especially with that run standing at third base. You can't let him get the barrel to it. He actually hammered that baseball through the hole on the left side.
It was always going to be a tough proposition to hold the Yankees to a shutout. Blue Jays were up 1-0. Now it's 1-1. Trent Grisham up, left on left. Little's pitch is low. Ball 1. This very well could be the last batter that Brendan Little faces. The righty Jimmy Garcia is still loosening up, and the right-handed hitter Aaron Judge is on deck. 1-0. Called strike.
You could see on the replay of that base hit just how badly Alejandro Kirk wanted that batter. He wanted Cabrera. He tilted his head back kind of in disbelief that ball got through.
Little kicks, offers. Curveball low, 2-1. After a run of really solid outings in a row, Little has struggled in this outing. Benefited from 2 caught stealings in the 6th. Gave up a hit that inning and 2 more this one. 2-1. Popped up foul, left side. Clement over to the edge of foul territory, and that one goes way into the seats. 2-2. Runner on first, 1 out, 1-1 game, bottom 7. The 2-2. Curveball just misses inside, full count.
Again, Kirk doing such a good job making that pitch look like a strike. It wasn't a strike. It was in off the plate, but he's such a good framer back there. So good at stealing strikes.
Aaron Judge looming on deck. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Grisham reached for a curveball just off the plate. Little strikes him out. There are 2 down, and John Schneider has walked out of the Blue Jay dugout. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 2 outs. Go-ahead run on first base. 1-1 game. Bottom of the 7th. Jimmy Garcia about to enter. Let's go back to baseball control. Here's Julia.
Thank you, Ben. Julia Kreutz here in baseball control. Downtown Toronto with you. The Blue Jays and the Yankees tied at 1 in this 7th inning. Let's take another look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll go to the NBA this time. The Celtics and the Magic playing right now. The Magic leading 71-68. That game is in the 3rd quarter. Pacers Bucks also going right now. Game 3 of that series. It's Pacers 51 to Bucks 42. That game is in the 2nd quarter right now. A little bit later today, we have Game 3 of Lakers Timberwolves. That series is tied at 1. Game is set for 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Elsewhere in Major League Baseball, the Nationals and the Mets are playing right now in the top of the 8th inning. The Nationals have a 3-1 lead over the Mets. The Astros and the Royals also playing right now. That game is in the bottom of the 6th. The Royals lead 1-0, and Bobby Witt Jr. extending his hit streak to 17 games here. The Twins lead the Angels 4-1. That game's in the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Brewers and the Cardinals are tied at 0, top of the 4th. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. It's time to get you back to the action with Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Julia. It's a 1-1 ball game. 2 outs and a runner on first. Bottom of the 7th. Aaron Judge up to the plate. He'll take on Blue Jays setup man, Jimmy Garcia. Garcia making his 12th appearance of the year. 11 1/3, 6 hits, 1 unearned run allowed, 3 walks, 15 strikeouts for the right-hander.
And I know hindsight's 20/20, but this is those types of situations, especially because the Blue Jays have lost 5 in a row. And you look back and you think, should Jimmy Garcia have been in this ballgame to start this inning? This is a big inning. You want to shorten the game. You want to go Jimmy Garcia, and then, of course, Jeff Hoffman. But this is still a big out in this ballgame. Aaron Judge, obviously the best hitter in all of baseball currently, with a big run at first base.
Judge 1 for 3 today with a single. Garcia, the right-hander, tucks it into his glove. Twists and offers. Slider outside, ball 1. Garcia and Judge have faced off 12 times. Judge is 3 for 12, all singles, 5 strikeouts. 1-0. Again, a breaking ball away, 2 balls, no strikes. At least early on, it looks like Jimmy Garcia does not want to give Judge anything that he can drive. 2-0 pitch. Outside again, ball 3.
Yeah, I don't know if they're purposely staying away from him or he's just missing, but you could tell that they're really trying to stay away from Aaron Judge. But Aaron Judge, I mean, as we've seen a lot over his career, he takes that pitch away and he drives it the other way.
3-0. Called strike. Finally landed that breaking ball on the outside corner. That's 4 in a row that he threw to make it 3-1.
I almost feel like you have to show something in right now, even though there's 3 balls in this count.
Runner on first is Cabrera. 1-1 game. The 3-1 pitch. Fastball just outside. Ball 4.
And Jimmy Garcia actually put both of his arms in the air, asking where that pitch was. You don't really see it, that kind of emotion from Jimmy Garcia very often, but thought that ball was a strike, and we see in the replay that ball wasn't a strike.
It was close.
It was close.
It was outside. Judge down to first. Go ahead run, and Cabrera up to second.
But here's Ben Rice. That just shows how badly everybody wants this ball game.
Rice 0 for 3 today. Strikeout looking in the first. Groundouts to second in the 4th and 5th. The pitch home. Called strike. That one also a little bit outside, and Garcia gets the benefit this time to get ahead 0-1. Multiple fastballs, multiple breaking balls, and a change for the righty. His 0-1. Called strike. You can't place a fastball better than that. Right on the outside corner, bottom of the zone. 0-2.
Well, I don't know if Ben Rice was questioning the call or just kind of flabbergasted at how perfect that pitch was, but that is a beautiful thing right there.
First and second, 2 down. The 2-strike pitch. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good take there from Rice. He started the hands ever so slightly, but held up. Bearded right-hander Garcia looks at second. The 1-2 in the dirt and picked by Kirk on the backhand side. First changeup we've seen from Jimmy, and he missed down low. Two balls, 2 strikes. Judge on first, Cabrera on second. Yankees tied it at 1 this inning. They're looking to take the lead. The 2-2. Hit high. Down the right field line, near foul territory. Barger racing over, makes the catch just over the line in the foul side to end the inning. Jimmy Garcia, after a walk, gets the job done, stranding the go-ahead run in scoring position and keeping it 1-1. But the Yankees struck this inning to tie it up. We go to the 8th in a tie game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's NFL Draft Week, and Sports Grid Radio on SiriusXM is talking about the impact every pick has on the sports books.
Shador Sanders plus 160 right now to be a top 8 pick.
How many trades and how many players drafted at each position.
Quarterbacks taken in round number 1. 2.5 is the number.
We'll even track how each pick impacts the Super Bowl odds and team win totals.
I know there's a lot of people betting on him. They're going to lose their money.
Follow the NFL Draft tonight at 7 in the East on Sports Grid Radio, channel 159 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 8th inning, a pitching change for the Yankees, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. In a 1-1 ball game, Aaron Boone goes back into his bullpen and pulls out the right-hander over from Cincinnati, Fernando Cruz. His first pitch to Nathan Lucas, 93-mile-per-hour heater, strike 1. Cruz is a splitter first pitcher, throws it over half the time, four-seamer, slider, and sinker as well. 0-1. Broken bat flare, left center field, down for a base hit. He didn't get a great piece of it, Nathan Lucas, but he got enough to move to 2 for 3 on the day.
Yeah, no, that's a very important hit in this ball game, and now you wonder, how will he get to second base? Obviously, Bo Bichette coming up to the plate, so you don't want to bunt him over, but this is a big at-bat for the Toronto Blue Jays.
1-1, no outs, top of the 8th. Cruz shakes off his sign, now sets just in front of his stomach. His pitch. First splitter, he misses upstairs, ball 1. Cruz, a 6th rounder by the Royals in 2007 at a high school in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. Did not debut in the majors until 2022. The 1-0. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes.
Is it just me, or is the split finger changing careers?
I really think it is.
Yeah.
Guys develop it. Maybe they don't have plus velocity. Maybe they do, and it still helps them out. 2-0. Inside, ball 3.
We've obviously seen it with Bowden Francis.
I mean, even Kevin Gausman. Chris Bassett incorporating a splitter more this year. It hasn't turned around his career. He already has a good career, but it's helped him out. 3-0 to Bichette. Called strike.
The only thing I don't love about the split finger is when you spread your fingers apart, that pointer finger and that middle finger, it puts a lot of pressure on your forearm. So I don't know what the injury numbers are going to be like when the split finger gets very popular.
3-1 pitch. Bichette hits a liner over the mound. Picked up at second base. Chisholm throws onto first inexplicably, and Lucas is safe at second. I don't know if Jazz Chisholm didn't know there was a runner on first. He could have easily tagged Lucas or flipped to Volpe at second. Instead, he stopped about 3 feet in front of Lucas, threw to first without getting the lead runner, and the Blue Jays advanced the go-ahead run into scoring position.
I mean, that's just a strange one for me. I don't know what Chisholm was thinking, and I'm sure the Yankees are thinking the same thing. You just stop in the base path and you tag Nathan Lucas. You don't let that lead runner, especially in a 1-1 ball game, get into scoring position.
First pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. is a slider for strike one. While the defense has been improved for the Yankees, many remember the issues that led to the landslide, or the lopsided, I should say, World Series win by the Dodgers 4-1. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Guerrero reached for a slider that bounced after the plate, 0-2.
But that's not even a physical error. That's a mental error right there. That's one of those ones where you pull him aside and you say, what are we doing out there?
A single could easily give the Blue Jays the lead. Lucas on second, 1 out. Vlad has supplied the lone Toronto run on a solo homer. 0-2. Hit back foul. Saw a splitter in the zone there after one in the dirt and sent it over the netting behind him.
Yeah, that's not really what you want to do. You don't want to throw a good one in the dirt and then a hanging one like Cruz did right there. Vlad just missed it.
Right-hander Cruz leans forward to look in, now sets. A peek at second. And is 0-2. Broken bat grounder, softly to short. Charging in Volpe, slings over to first, and it's picked on the backhand side by Goldschmidt for the out. Up to third goes Lucas. Big play by Volpe and Goldschmidt.
What a play from Paul Goldschmidt. That is a game-saving play right there. It was not an easy pick. It wasn't one of those short hop picks. It was kind of in between, a play that's really difficult for first baseman, and Paul Goldschmidt makes it look easy over there.
Meanwhile, that splitter demolished the bat of Vlad. Half the barrel stayed on the bat, half of it rolled about 10 feet up the third baseline.
Fernando Cruz has big strikeout numbers, too. 35 years old. 21 strikeouts coming into this ballgame in just 13 innings.
It's part of the reason that the Yankees targeted him. After an up-and-down season with Cincinnati last year, his ERA was just under 5 last year, but the swing and miss was really high. So they traded Jose Trevino, their backup catcher last year, over to the Reds. Got Alex Jackson back, who did not end up making the team as a potential backup catcher, and Fernando Cruz, who, of course, did make the team and has been in the Yankee pen all year. Runner on third base, top of the 8th, 2 outs after a mound visit from Matt Blake. The pitch to Anthony Santander. Called strike. Infield shifted to the pull side, which means the third baseman Cabrera is well away from the bag, and Lucas can get a big lead at third. 0-1. Hit back foul, 0-2.
Santander was all over that splitter. On the inner third, you could see him kind of thinking, I missed that one.
Santander 0 for 3, robbed of a hit in the fourth. Be a huge spot to get on base. Go ahead run on third. 2 outs and 2 strikes. Cruz kicks and deals. High, ball 1.
And if you're Nathan Lucas standing at third base, you have to be ready for a ball in the dirt, especially with Cruz on the mound. He throws a lot of split fingers in the dirt. Anything can happen in this situation.
Lucas leading off in the eye line of Cruz. 1-2. Hit in the air, right field. Room for Judge. 5 feet in front of the track, makes the catch and ends the inning. Go-ahead run left on third base. No runs on a hit for the Blue Jays. 1-1 game, middle of 8. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
I led Canada through the global financial crisis. Today, we also face big challenges. The 2 men running to lead us both once worked for me, and my choice unequivocally is Pierre Poilievre. Only Pierre is putting forward an actual plan to make life affordable, make our streets safer, and put us in a strong position in dealing with the U.S. Only Pierre will bring change. Please join with me in voting Conservative.
Authorized by the Chief Agent of the Conservative Party of Canada.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is the greatest talent show in the world.
Tuesdays on City TV.
This is my favorite act of all time.
Canada's Got Talent is stacked with mind-blowing acts.
Whoa. You are exceptional.
Competing for the $1 million grand prize. Thanks to Rogers.
We are looking at the future of a lot of Canadian stars.
All new Canada's Got Talent. Tuesdays 8, 7 Central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Way back, and Jimenez has done it again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Blue Jays and Yankees tied at 1. Bottom of the 8th inning. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. In the Bronx, Paul Goldschmidt steps up. He'll lead off the inning against Jimmy Garcia. The pitch. Swing and a deep drive. Left field. And that one is going to hook foul. But into the upper deck at Yankee Stadium. Goldschmidt all over 95 on the inner half, 0-1.
Well, that fastball was just in enough, almost on the black on the inside part. That's really all Paul Goldschmidt could do with that pitch. As Jimmy Garcia asked to change up the baseball, didn't like that one.
If you're wondering, though, if Paul Goldschmidt still has the bat speed to do it, he got way out in front of 95. A breath from Goldschmidt. Bulky right-handed hitter steps in, just slightly in open stance. The pitch. Hit foul off to the right. It's 1-2. Quick look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. If you're monitoring the NHL playoffs on Sportsnet, Washington and Montreal game 3. Capitals up 2-0 in the series. Washington just scored in the third to tie the game at 3. 1-2 pitch to Goldschmidt. Hit on the ground weakly to third. Clement backhands, throws to first, beats Goldschmidt for the out. With one down, let's go over to the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Significance of this game, the Yankees 15-10 lead the division. Red Sox 14-13 in second. Blue Jays 12-13 in third. Rays 11-14. And the Orioles 10-14. Blue Jays are going to make a pitching change here with back-to-back left-handed hitters about to come up. Mason Fluharty about to enter. Let's go back to today's host. Here's Julia Kreutz.
Thank you very much, Ben. Julia Kreutz here with you at Baseball Control in downtown Toronto. We'll take another look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard then. The Mets came back, and now they lead 4-3 against the Washington Nationals. The Astros and the Royals are also playing right now. That game is 2-0 Royals right now. And the Twins and the Angels, the Twins put up 6 runs in the 4th inning, and they now lead the Angels 9-2. Elsewhere, mid-5th here for the Brewers and the Cardinals. The Cardinals lead 1-0 in that game. The Reds and the Rockies are also in action right now. Top of the 3rd inning, 1 apiece. And a few other games later on in the schedule for MLB, including the Braves and the D-backs. They're warming up right now. First pitch goes momentarily here. Same goes for Marlins, Mariners. Later in the evening, we have the Tampa Bay Rays facing off against the San Diego Padres. First pitch is scheduled for 9:40 p.m. Eastern, 6:40 p.m. Pacific. The White Sox and the A's playing a little later today, 10:05 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, or 7:05 p.m. Pacific. And the big showstopper, let's put it like that, of the evening, definitely Pirates-Dodgers, a game that you can catch on Sportsnet Plus. Paul Skeens going against Yoshinobu Yamamoto with first pitch set for 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action with Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Julia. Pitching Change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Mason Fluharty in. 1-1 game, 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. Fluharty goes left on left with Cody Bellinger. Bellinger crowding the plate and the pitch. Called strike on a sweeper, 0-1. Fluharty coming off his best of the season. His last appearance against the Astros. 0-1. In the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Go back to Tuesday. Fluharty came in and struck out the side in the 8th inning, including getting Jose Altuve. His 1-1 to Bellinger. Outside with the sweeper, 2 balls, 1 strike.
And that was the best he's looked this season by far. And it's not because he struck out the side. I'm not worried about that right now. It's just his confidence level seemed to be a lot higher, and the stuff was just different. It was just better, tighter, more effective.
2-1 pitch is hit high, center field. Springer is charging forward a long way, and that one drops in. Bellinger trying for second, the throw not in time. And Bellinger has a bloop double. Springer pulled up like Barger was going to cut in front of him. But truthfully, that ball looks closer to the center fielder than the right fielder.
And that's a ball that has to be caught. You could see Alejandro Kirk, as soon as Cody Bellinger hit that baseball, he started clapping that bare hand in his glove. He thought that was an easy out. And that ball just dropped. That ball needs to be caught, especially in a ball game like this. George Springer should not be looking at Addison Barger. He needs to catch that baseball.
So now the go-ahead run on second. 1 out, bottom of the 8th. Pressure situation for Fluharty and the Blue Jays, if it wasn't a pressure situation already. Jazz Chisholm Jr., 1 for 2 today with a walk. He's at the plate. The pitch. Low ball 1.
And you know that heart rate of Mason Fluharty is starting to pick up just a little bit. His first time at Yankee Stadium. And a big run standing out at second base in this ball game.
10th Major League appearance for Fluharty. 1-0. Sweeper nearly got the inside edge, but it misses. 2 balls, no strikes.
Crowd starting to get a little bit louder.
Fluharty's allowed only 2 earned runs in 8 innings. Both of them came in an appearance in New York against the Mets. 2-0. Called strike. Really nice sweeper, landed in at the knees.
That's a big pitch. And they do have that open base at first base, so you know they don't want to give Chisholm something he can drive here in this situation.
The 2-1. Punch shown, pulled back, pitch missed down and away. It was his cutter. 3 balls, 1 strike. 1-1 game, 1 out, bottom of the 8th. Bellinger on second is the go-ahead run. Chisholm at the plate with Volpe on deck. Fluharty twists, offers, and misses outside, ball 4. So that open spot at first filled. And Mason Fluharty will face off with a right-handed hitter in Anthony Volpe.
I don't mind that. As soon as you fall behind to Chisholm, you basically just pitch around him. That's exactly what I would have done if I was John Schneider, if I was Fluharty out there. Pete Walker coming out just to have a chat, probably coming up with a game plan here, I would imagine. Just asking him what Fluharty wants to pitch, maybe giving his opinion, and they'll figure it out here.
Whole infield is involved in this mound visit. Anthony Volpe about to come up. It was his leadoff double in the 7th inning that set up this 1-1 tie. Blue Jays were up 1-0, but Volpe doubled the opposite way before Oswaldo Cabrera singled to score him.
And it was a fastball away that he drove. And I'm sure that Pete Walker knows that. Mason Fluharty knows that. So they might not even throw a fastball away to him.
First and second, 1 out. 1-1, bottom of the 8th. Fluharty in the set. And his pitch to Volpe. Called strike. Entire front of Volpe's jersey covered in dirt. It's been active today on both sides of the ball. 0-1 to the Yankees shortstop. Swing and a miss. Strike to ball sweeper that faded away below the knees. 0-2.
And now you're going for strike 3. You're not messing around here. You're not throwing anything in the strike zone that Volpe can potentially get to the outfield. You have to go for a strikeout here in an 0-2 count.
The 0-2 pitch. Way inside. Volpe saying it hit him. And he's jogging down to first base. Blue Jays use their challenge, although in the 8th or later you can ask for a crew chief review. And I would say there's a good chance the Blue Jays ask for a crew chief review. To Marlo Hale on the phone right now, and the Blue Jays are asking for one. The umpires can deny it, but almost never do.
Yeah, that's just one of those pitches where Mason Fluharty knows that he shouldn't be throwing something in the strike zone or even close to the strike zone.
Call on the field is hit by pitch. This is a crew chief review.
And they will have a look at this, but I think he's just choking off that pitch a little bit too much, trying to make the perfect pitch in the back of his mind, knowing that he doesn't want to put that ball over the plate, something that Volpe can drive or potentially just get to the outfield, and he just chokes it off and really yanks it.
It's really hard to tell from the angle that we're seeing whether it did hit him or not. I think there's a chance it didn't, but the call on the field is that he was struck by the pitch.
Well, Volpe immediately looked back like he did get hit, so I don't know if that sold it, but we're not really getting a good angle to see if that actually did hit him or not.
We've seen the view from the pitcher's perspective, from the side, from over the top. I really couldn't tell you if it hit him or not. The call on the field is that it did, so.
Yeah, if it did hit him, it barely hit him.
After review, the call on the field stands. It's a hit by pitch. Batter award first base.
The bases are loaded now, and decision time for the Blue Jays. Dylan Tate has been warming up in the Blue Jay bullpen for a little bit, but a left-handed hitter about to come up, so Fluharty's going to remain in. If you're just joining us, his outing started with terrible luck. A fly ball that probably should have been caught, dumped in for a bloop double. Now it's bases loaded, 1 out. Pitch to Wells. Called a ball. It grabbed the outside edge, but not according to John Tumpain. Ball 1. One game. Bases loaded, 1 out. Bottom of the 8th. Contact on the ground would be big. Infield in. Here's the 1-0. High, 2 balls, no strikes. Fluharty sets. And the 2-0. Hit in the air, right field and shallow. Barger makes the catch. Tagging from third, Bellinger. He's trying to score. Throw to the plate offline. It's a sac fly, and the Yankees have the lead, 2-1.
And I thought Addison Barger had a good chance to get Bellinger at home plate. That throw was just a little bit offline, kind of up the first base line, just a little bit. And Cody Bellinger slides in safely, and the Yankees lead 2-1 in this ballgame.
It'll go down as an earned run for Fluharty. Truthfully, Cody Bellinger should have never been on base.
Yeah, obviously we're going to look back at that play as being the defining moment in this ball game. And George Springer, I'm sure, will have a chat with Mason Fluharty in the dugout and tell him that was his bad. Should have caught that baseball.
First and second, 2 down. Oswaldo Cabrera takes a pitch, called a strike that was definitely outside. Fluharty gets a break. It's 0-1. Now the job for Fluharty, keep it at a 1-run game. 2-1 for the Yankees. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. First and second. A look at second, and the pitch home. Outside, throw back to first base by Kirk, and a dive back in by Anthony Volpe. 1-1 count. Looking ahead to the ninth inning, the Blue Jays have George Springer, Andres Jimenez, and Alejandro Kirk scheduled to hit. Will Wagner, Alan Roden, Miles Straw, Tyler Heineman on the bench. Switch hitter Cabrera batting right. He's 2 for 3 today. Hits from both sides. 1-1. Popped him up. Shallow right. Coming in Barger. And he makes the catch to end the inning. Loop, 1-out double comes back to hurt the Blue Jays. A run for the Yankees on 1 hit. No errors. 2 left on base. We go to the ninth. Blue Jays need 1 to tie, 2 to take the lead. It's 2-1 Yankees at Yankee Stadium. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This weekend on the Catholic Channel, we invite you to join us in prayer and remembrance of the 266th Pontiff of the Roman Catholic Church, Pope Francis. He was a man of the people, a voice for the voiceless, and a spiritual leader who guided with grace, compassion, and humility. From the Vatican to your home, we bring you live coverage of the funeral mass and exclusive commentary throughout the weekend, starting Saturday at 3 a.m. East on the Catholic Channel 129 and on the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
Blue Jays fans, no matter where you are, you won't miss a pitch with the SiriusXM app. Hear every game all season long. Download the SiriusXM app and search Blue Jays.
A Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the ninth. Inning. Blue Jays trailing the Yankees 2-1 in a pitching change, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Yankees' new closer, Devin Williams, is into the game. The bearded right-hander, a little bit down, also throws the changeup. That's his signature pitch. Righties 2-1. Well outside with the change, ball 3.
3 straight pitches nowhere near the strike zone. That last changeup was about 2 or 3 balls off the plate outside.
2-1 Yankees. No outs, top of the ninth. The 3-1 to George Springer. Lined left field, base hit. Blue Jays have a runner aboard here with nobody out.
Well, George Springer knew that Devin Williams was trying to come over the plate, had to throw a strike in that situation, and he ripped that fastball into left field for a big base hit.
Big start to the top of the ninth inning. First hit of the night for George Springer. Murmurs around Yankee Stadium. Here's the pitch to Andres Jimenez. Rather step off and check at first. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. First pitch to Jimenez. High, ball one.
He's all over the place, something that he really hasn't done in his career. I mean, if you want your closer to come into ball games and throw strikes, pound the strike zone, and Devin Williams just really isn't doing that here.
Dynamite in his Brewers career. Williams 1-0 to Andres Jimenez. Outside. Williams, a great reliever before this, took over the closing job in 2022 after Josh Hader was traded away. Two-time Trevor Hoffman National League Reliever of the Year in 2020 as a non-closer and in 2023 as a closer. Two-time All-Star. One of the big Yankee moves of the offseason. Traded over in December for prospect Caleb Durbin and Nestor Cortez. Austin Wells in the infield converging on the mound, trying to pump up Williams, who's thrown 2 strikes in 7 pitches, and one of those strikes was the pitch hit to left field by George Springer.
And even that wasn't really a good pitch. It was a fastball at the top of the strike zone. Just hasn't found that release point yet, but we talked before the outing that he has seven walks in 8 innings this season.
2-1 Yankees. Runner on first, and the 2-0 pitch from Williams. Changeup just got the zone at the knees. Strike one.
That's a really good changeup when he gets on top of it. When he can throw that thing for strikes, it's basically unhittable.
He kicks, offers, and Jimenez fouls it back 2-2. Just to put into context how different this start has been for Williams than most years. His last full year, 2023, because he was hurt part of 2024, in the entire 23 season, he gave up 10 earned runs. He's already given up 7 this year, and it's April 25th. 2-2. And he hit him. Caught him on the front knee with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and right as it looked like he had the zone, he loses control again to put the go-ahead run on base.
And again, they're not just balls. They are nowhere near the strike zone. He is really, really wild right now.
You can hear the unrest of the fans. They're chanting, "We want Weaver" right now. Talking about Luke Weaver, who took over for Clay Holmes last year, closed in the playoffs. Doesn't look like they're going to get it. Mark Leiter Jr. is warming up.
And as much as people think that pitchers can't hear the fans, he can hear this.
Packed house at Yankee Stadium, asking for Williams to leave the game. He's allowed the first 2 to reach. His pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Outside, ball 1. George Springer is the tying run. He's on second. Andres Jimenez the go-ahead run on first. No outs. 2-1 Yankees over the Blue Jays, top of the 9th. The 1-0. Lined, center field, racing back Grisham. It's over his head, down on the warning track. Springer around third, right behind him Jimenez. They both come in to score on a 2-run go-ahead double by Alejandro Kirk. The boos rain down again as the Blue Jays jump in front 3-2 in the 9th.
Well, have yourself a day, Alejandro Kirk. What a game from him. A huge hit. A huge double with 2 RBIs. Man, what a swing on a good changeup from Devin Williams.
Changeup was close to the outside corner. Not the worst pitch that Williams has made this inning by far. And Kirk smoked it 106 mile an hour off the bat. Grisham was maybe playing a little bit in, and he had no shot of getting that baseball. Alejandro Kirk getting a huge reception in the dugout as the Blue Jays bring in Tyler Heineman to run for him, and the Yankees make a pitching change. Brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Let's go over to baseball control with Toronto up 3-2. Here's Julia Kreutz.
Thank you, Ben. Julia Kreutz here with you in baseball control. Downtown Toronto. We'll take another look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard on this Friday evening. The Habs taking a 5-3 lead over the Capitals in Montreal, trying to make up some deficit in the series in Game 3. The Capitals leading the series 2-1, but Logan Thompson, the Capitals goalie, injured, so he left the game after colliding with Ryan Strome on that fifth goal by the Habs. Not great news there for the Capitals. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Devils are also playing right now. The Devils still leading 1-0 the second period, just about to wrap up in that game. And a little bit later today, in about 15 minutes, we have the Kings facing off against the Oilers. LA leading that series 2-0 right now, and you can watch that game on Sportsnet as you can catch the final moments of the third period between the Capitals and the Habs on Sportsnet. A pretty full slate of NHL or Stanley Cup playoff action tomorrow as well, starting with Game 3 between the Lightning and the Panthers at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. You can watch that on Sportsnet. Florida has a 2-game lead in that series. The Golden Knights and the Wild have their Game 4 at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, of course, the Maple Leafs and the Senators have their Game 4. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Julia. Mark Leiter Jr. in the game, and the first pitch he delivers to Addison Barger is fouled off, 0-1. This game has turned on its head. 3-2 Blue Jays, nobody out, top of the ninth. Tyler Heineman on second, running for Alejandro Kirk after Kirk's 2-run go-ahead double. 0-1 to Barger. Lined left field, down for a hit. Heineman getting the wave. Bellinger picks it up in left, and there's no throw. Tyler Heineman in to score. 4-2 Blue Jays, RBI single by Barger.
And keep in mind, there are still nobody out in this inning, and the Blue Jays are now ahead 4-2. Addison Barger with a couple of hits today.
Toronto with more runs today than any game during this losing streak of 5 in a row. Scored 2 runs total in Houston. And now they've actually matched the run total of the first game in the losing streak, the 8-4 extra innings loss. 4-2 Toronto. Barger is going to be lifted as well. Blue Jays bring in Miles Straw to run at first. Mark Leiter Jr. on the mound. Sets. Looks in at Ernie Clement. The pitch. Hit in the air. Right center field. Judge racing back. Curling near the track. Makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
That ball was actually really well hit out to right center. Judge doing a good job tracking that ball down, but went a little bit further than I thought it was going to go. I thought he got jammed. Must have barreled that thing up.
All important, though, for the Yankees to stop the bleeding and get that first out. Former Blue Jay Mark Leiter Jr. trying to settle it down and keep it at 2. Righty Leiter now to Nathan Lucas. Outside, ball 1. Mark Leiter Jr. is the nephew of Al Leiter and the cousin of Jack Leiter, son of Mark Leiter. He's the third member of the Leiter family to pitch for the Yankees. Al and Mark both did it. 1-0. Hit foul off to the left, 1-1.
I don't know how I feel about the goatee that he has. I just can't. It shouldn't be allowed.
Yankees reversing the facial hair rule this year, allowing for well-groomed facial hair, I guess. 1-1. Outside, runner goes in Straw, and he decides to turn back and dives back into first. He got a late jump clearly because when the throw went down, he wasn't even halfway to second. Turned on the brakes, dove back in. So that pitch was a ball. It's 2-1, and Straw still at first.
I think if Anthony Volpe picked that pitch, he probably still would have gotten back to first base. Sorry, not the pitch, the throw.
It bounced past him to the backup guy, Jazz Chisholm. That's a weird one, though. Right on left, the 2-1 pitch to Lucas. Lined foul, 2-2. Devin Williams, the closer, in for 3 batters, allowed a single, hit a batter, and then a 2-run double to give the Blue Jays the lead. You wonder if his days are numbered as a closer right now for the Yankees. 2-2 in the dirt, ball 3.
Well, he just can't find the zone, I think the whole season has been like that, where he's struggling to throw strikes, struggling to hit the bottom of the strike zone, like he's done so well over the course of his career.
Step off, throw to first by Leiter. Straw is back in.
So in answer to your question or your comment, yes, his days are definitely numbered as the closer. You can't not throw strikes if you're the closer.
And previously, he had at least had his tough routings in non-save situations. This is the first time it's come up in a save chance. 3-2. Straw leaves. Ball hit on the ground to second base. Long run to the left for Chisholm. He fields and makes an awkward throw over to first for the out. He was kind of falling away to the left and did everything he could to keep it right. Did a good job, Chisholm. Straw advances to second, and there are 2 down. Four to 2 for the Blue Jays. 2 outs, top of the 9th inning. Bo Bichette up to the plate. Leiter kicks, deals, and it's a curve down and away, ball 1. Leiter set at the belt, looks at second, 1-0. Bichette lines the ball up the middle, stopped on a hop by Chisholm, who softly bounces it over to first to end the inning. The Blue Jays scored 3 runs on 3 hits. The most important one, a 2-run double by Alejandro Kirk, and Toronto takes a 4-2 lead to the bottom of the 9th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong Bird Food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are here on Sportsnet.
The wait is over.
Round 1 begins with 5 Canadian teams in the hunt for Lord Stanley.
Away we go.
The Leafs take on the Senators.
Battle of Ontario.
The Capitals versus the Canadiens.
They're on their feet in Montreal.
The Jets against the Blues.
Winnipeg, this could be the year.
The Kings versus the Oilers.
Edmonton and Los Angeles rekindled a rivalry.
Watch the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's showtime.
Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That ball is gone. 3rd home run in 4 batters for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Baseball Control in downtown Toronto. Julia Kreutz here with you. Middle of the 9th inning between the Blue Jays and the Yankees. The Blue Jays leading 4-2. Blair and Barker will have Jays Talk after this. Don't forget to send in your texts at 590 with your name and location. They'll break all of this one down for you. The Blue Jays scoring 3 runs in the top of the 9th to take the lead. We will get you back to the action now with Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Julia. It's a pitching change in the bottom of the 9th, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Closer Jeff Hoffman into the ball game. Blue Jays 4, Yankees 2, top of the order for New York. Defensive changes after some substitutions in the top of the 9th. Heineman now catching. Straw in center. Springer moved to right. First pitch to Trent Grisham, fouled off, 0-1. In 11 games this year, 12 1/3 innings pitched, Hoffman's given up 2 earned runs for a 1.46 ERA. He's got 5 saves. Righty hunched over in the set, stands up tall, kicks and offers. Fastball popped up, foul into the seats, 0-2.
Jeff Hoffman is pounding the strike zone, not only in this at-bat, but for the majority of the season. Just one walk to 18 strikeouts so far.
And that one walk, intentional.
There you go. That's what you want as a closer. You want to come in, pound the zone, and get guys out.
The 0-2. Splitter hit on the ground at first. Guerrero has it off to his forehand side, and he runs to the bag for the first out of the inning. That's a massive out because now Aaron Judge comes up, and there's no one on base. You can go right after him.
Yeah, if I'm Jeff Hoffman, I'm going right at him. I'm not messing around. I don't want that tying run to come to the plate. Let him hit a home run here. Obviously, with Jeff Hoffman's stuff, you don't think that's going to happen, but pound the strike zone still.
Right on right, Hoffman's pitch. Swing and a miss. Actually a called strike, but I think he went around anyway on the check swing attempt. It was a slider to get ahead 0-1. Hoffman's 0-1. Another slider down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Although Hoffman's been around a while, this is his first year in the American League, so a lot of these guys on the other side haven't seen him much at all. 1-1 pitch. Splitter hit foul down the right field line. Well struck, but didn't keep it straight. 1-2.
And if you're going to throw that pitch again, don't throw it right there. That was a little bit too much in the strike zone for my liking. Get that thing below the strike zone. See if you can get Aaron Judge to swing and miss.
1 out, bases empty. 4-2 Blue Jays, bottom of the 9th. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Elevated the fastball up and in near the logo of Judge. And there are 2 down.
Or you can do that. You can absolutely blow him away with 98 up around the letters. What a pitch from Jeff Hoffman.
First time in his career he has got Aaron Judge out after giving up 2 hits to Judge previously. 2 down. Batter is Ben Rice, and the pitch is cut on and missed. 0-1. This game went back and forth wildly. Blue Jays went up 1-0 in the 6th, tied by the Yankees in the 7th. Yankees took a 1-run lead in the 8th. Blue Jays countered with 3 runs in the 9th. 0-1. Way outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ben Rice is 0 for 4 today. 1-1. Rice hits it in the air. Right field. Springer going back. That one's down on the warning track up into the wall. Rice heads into second, and the Yankees still alive. A 2-out double from the Yankee DH.
Yeah, not a bad swing from Ben Rice. It was a pretty tough split finger down and away. He just goes down and gets it and rips it off the wall in right field. But that's a big hit for the Yankees.
Brings the tying run to the plate. Does this dramatic game have one more moment in it? Or is Jeff Hoffman about to shut it down? Runner on second. 4-2 Blue Jays. 2 outs, bottom 9. The pitch here to Paul Goldschmidt. Outside, ball 1. Goldschmidt is one of the few guys in a Yankee uniform with lots of experience against Hoffman. 7 for 20 in his career. 1 double. No walks. A .350 average, a .750 OPS. 1-0. Called strike. Slider right down the middle, and I think Paul Goldschmidt probably wants that pitch back.
Well, that was just a little spinner, and I think you're right. That's that one mistake that you get as a hitter, and I'm sure Paul Goldschmidt is thinking just that.
A look at second, 1-1. Fastball lifted to second base. Andres Jimenez makes the catch, and the Blue Jays come back to win it. 3 runs in the 9th inning from Toronto, and the losing streak is over.
Well, how about that? Just like that, the Blue Jays can get on a winning streak now. 1 win in a row, but Alejandro Kirk, what a ball game. I was talking about how good he was framing pitches earlier on in the ball game, and then he threw out 2 big base runners later on in the ball game and comes up with a huge double and 2 RBIs to win this ball game. What a game from him.
Blue Jays win it 4-2. We'll step aside, wrap it up when we come back, and get you over to a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Of all the things that TimberMart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the TimberMart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as TimberMart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. TimberMart, Canada's building center.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
I led Canada through the global financial crisis. Today, we also face big challenges. The two men running to lead us both once worked for me, and my choice unequivocally is Pierre Poilievre. Only Pierre is putting forward an actual plan to make life affordable, make our streets safer, and put us in a strong position in dealing with the U.S. Only Pierre will bring change. Please join with me in voting Conservative.
Authorized by the Chief Agent of the Conservative Party of Canada.
Hey, this is Bo Bichette. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy, scary, spooky.
The Blue Jays win the series opener over the Yankees 4-2, the final score. Thanks so much for sticking around. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. We will get to the heroic moments near the end of the game, but Chris, let's start with the starting pitchers. Carlos Carrasco, Jose Berrios, both very good today.
Yeah, coming into the ball game, I'm sure the Blue Jays thought that they could get to Carlos Carrasco, but he looked really good. And I know that we've been saying that for the majority of this losing streak, that the opposing pitcher has looked good. But Carlos Carrasco with what he has very average stuff now. He used it to perfection. The sinker was really good. And basically every other pitch that he uses was outstanding tonight, keeping everybody off balance. 38 years old, pitching backwards to perfection.
And then on the other side, Jose Berrios looked about as good in this start as he has in almost any start this year.
Yeah, I think Jose Berrios, this might have been the best start of the season so far for him. And I don't mean in terms of numbers. I just mean in terms of execution. His fastball velocity was a little bit down. So again, a lot like Carlos Carrasco, he had to pitch backwards. He really had to use his brain to figure out this Yankees lineup. I really like what I saw from him tonight.
All right, let's get to what you've all been waiting for. So the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead in the top of the sixth inning. Vlad Guerrero Jr. with his second home run of the season. But the Yankees, 1 inning later, tie it up on an Oswaldo Cabrera RBI base hit. Then an unfortunate play out in shallow center leads to a bloop double for Cody Bellinger. He comes around to score on an Austin Wells sac fly. It's 2-1 Yankees after the 8th inning, and it looks like the Blue Jays are in danger of losing a 6th in a row. But Devin Williams comes in, struggling closer for the Yankees, who had converted all of his save opportunities so far. Gives up a leadoff hit to George Springer. Andres Jimenez is hit by a pitch in a 2-strike count, and that brings Alejandro Kirk up to the plate with today's play of the game. The 1-0. Lined center field, racing back Grisham. It's over his head, down on the warning track. Springer around third, right behind him Jimenez. They both come in to score on a 2-run go-ahead double by Alejandro Kirk.
Alejandro Kirk did everything in this ball game. He framed pitches, he called pitches, he threw runners out, and he comes up with the massive 2-run double in this ball game. What a game from him. Probably his best, most well-rounded game I've ever seen him play.
And the Blue Jays, helped by Kirk's double, end up scoring 3 in the 9th inning. They scored 1 more on an Addison Barger RBI single. He had a pretty nice day, going 2 for 4 with a double and an RBI. Toronto wins it 4-2, the final, to snap the losing streak. 4 runs for the Blue Jays on 9 hits. No errors, 6 left. 2 runs, 10 hits for the Yankees, no errors, 11 left. Mason Fluharty, with his first major league win, goes to 1-0. Devin Williams picks up his second loss of the year and his first blown save as a Yankee. He's 0-2. Jeff Hoffman locked it down around a Ben Rice double in the 9th inning, picked up his 6th save. 2 hour and 50-minute affair in front of 46,081 fans at Yankee Stadium. The Blue Jays 13-13 now, and the Yankees are 15-11. Toronto and New York back in action pretty soon at 1 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. Kevin Gausman and Max Fried in a matchup of ace pitchers go at Yankee Stadium. We hope you can join us then. Appreciate you tuning in now from our technical director, Tom Young, our producer, Nick Blackmore, our host, Julia Kreutz, my partner, Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Have a great rest of your night. And stick around, get your calls and texts in for the first time in about a week. It's a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker, and it starts.
You could be the bigger man. You could be the bigger man and acknowledge that Alejandro Kirk is worth every penny of that 5-year, $58 million extension.
I'll say this: he had a really good game behind the plate, throwing people out, which was huge. In the inning that he threw the 2 people out, Devin Williams was the perfect storm for him, right? Didn't have anything spinning, throwing the changeup, feeding off the fastball. If he was going to have a good at bat, a good swing, you would think it would be off a guy like that. Give him credit, right? He got it down. He swung at a strike, which is a huge steal, something they hadn't been doing a ton of, especially with runners in scoring position. Give him credit, man. He got it down on time. He stayed through the baseball, which is very rare. A lot of his swings are pulling off, front side pull. You can tell he's been cheating a little bit because of whatever, lack of bat speed, whatever you want to call it, cheating to get to the heater. That's why they're throwing a bunch of things that spin. But, man, yeah, he had a really good game, right? I mean, it's rare we come on here and go, Kirky had a really good game, and Vladdy hit a homer. Both of those things happened. How about that?
Unbelievable. 4-2, the Toronto Blue Jays have beaten the New York Yankees. The first of 3 games in the Bronx. The numbers, as always, 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-866-0590. In the process, the Jays are back to 500. Not that the record matters anything at this time of the year, but they are back to 500. They've broken a 5-game losing streak, and Alejandro Kirk's hit ended, I believe, a run of 20 consecutive at-bats with runners in scoring position where the Jays didn't manage to come up with a hit. Addison Barger added the insurance run. My friend Mr. Barker already mentioned. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. homered to lead off the 6th inning. Jose Berrios was okay. Didn't think it was, I wouldn't put that as one of Jose Berrios' best outings of his career, but he was effective against the Yankees. And the Jays, for once, did a pretty good job with Aaron Judge. A single, a walk, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, Berrios, the one good thing that he had going for him was the unpredictable mix, right? You look at the number of pitches that he threw. He threw 89 pitches. He threw 22 sinkers, 21 slurs, 21 four-seamers, 17 changeups. If I'm thinking about that, if I'm the on-deck hitter, I'm thinking, man, I really don't know what to look for, right? He's trying to go all quadrants. He'll throw you in. I mean, he actually pitched in tonight. I think he had to because he didn't have his slurve movement, the finish on it, just the spin consistently for me anyway, with what I saw, just wasn't there. So you could tell he was really forcing good misses. I said this today on our show. His misses got to be good, right? It's sort of when you don't, have success against a certain guy or sometimes a certain team in certain parks, your misses have to be on point. And again, right, he only had 5 whiffs, 3 on the slurve, 2 on the change. He had 15 called strikes. That was, for me, was the big deal. Kirky did a good job of keeping his tempo up. That's a big deal too, right? When you don't have your good pitch, you got to have good tempo. You got to talk the hitter into you do have good stuff. And I just think they got on the, a good same page. They were consistent with their misses. He made enough good pitches when he had to, right? What was it? The 3rd inning ground out for Judge, the 4th inning fly out for Volpe, the fly ball, the ground out to Rice in the 5th inning. So he was basically in trouble most of the night, but give him credit. Made a pitch when he had to make it. He gave the lineup a chance to have the big inning. And for once, we can come on here and say they actually did it.
They actually did it. And it looked like it was going to be one of those nights where they were going to squander some opportunities. A mistake by Jazz Chisholm on that one bouncer, allowing the runner to move to second base. That didn't result in anything. But, the Jays coming back for a 4-2 win over the New York Yankees in the Bronx. 416-870-0590, star 590. If you want to text us, 590-590 is the number. Name and location, please. So, Kevin, there was much made of Devin Williams when the Yankees brought him in. We have seen in the past players, particularly pitchers, not only pitchers, but particularly pitchers of good quality, show up in New York and for whatever reason, whether it's the moment gets too big for them, the stadium gets too big for them, the league is too big for them, whatever. We have seen pitchers show up and just not be able to cut it in New York. Now, look, Devin Williams has really good stuff. Really haven't seen it this year. Obviously tonight didn't have any command. The crowd chanting for Luke Weaver. I guarantee you when he was in Milwaukee, they were never chanting for another reliever to come in. It's early doors, Kevin, but if you're the Yankees, knowing how important the closer has been just historically to that franchise, do they have a problem here? Or do you trust the guy's stuff and think that he's going to work it out?
Yeah, I don't know about if they have a problem because they have Luke Weaver, right? I mean, that's their equalizer is, if it doesn't work out for Devin Williams in the ninth inning, you stick him in the eighth inning or you turn him into a hybrid guy. It's the Yankees, right? I mean, you're not playing favorites here. You're going with the best guy that you think can close out games. And, Luke Weaver's a little dude who throws 100 and gets a bunch of people out most of the time. Devin Williams doesn't. Takes a little trickery occasionally. We was talking about that with Kirky, right? When you don't have something that's spinning to get guys off and throw to certain weaknesses, when it's not locating and it's not, same arm speed, you got that deception when it's just tough to tell the difference between the two pitches. You sort of fall into that. It's not an easy place to go and play, right? Especially when you're struggling, when you're coming from Milwaukee, where you're sort of the forgotten team, the forgotten guy. What you do is gravy when you struggle. I played in Milwaukee. They're lunch pail people. They just happy to come watch a baseball game. You come to Yankee Stadium and you struggle no matter what the time of the season is. You're going to hear about it. So, yeah, look, I don't think it's a problem just because they have Luke. I think there will be some urgency there, right? Because of the reason, they see what's going on in the American League East. They see what the American League's not, featuring. You got a good chance here if you get on a hot roll and win the games you're supposed to win, like they were supposed to win tonight. I don't want to say run away with some things, but you can sure put yourself in a good spot. So, yeah, I mean, look, he's a grown-up. You got to be having your big boy pants on when you're struggling in that town. They'll figure it out. He may not figure it out, but the Yankees will figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I still tend to trust in the guy's talent, but again, I've seen this happen before. We've seen it happen before. It is a different. It's just a different animal, and especially closing in that ballpark. Those people are used to. They're used to a great deal of success there, but again, the stuff is. It's just, for whatever reason, it just didn't seem to me from the get-go tonight. He looked like he was searching for something. I have no idea. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I've watched every outing this year. I've seen him a couple of times. He's not the same guy we saw in Milwaukee so far. It's just, again, the lack of command.
I think his fastball velocity is a little erratic. I think that's an issue, right? I mean, when you're a two-pitch guy and the two pitches don't either one of them have a wrinkle in it, you got to make sure arm speed's there. You got to make sure the fluidity of that wind up is on point, and you're not able to pay the difference between the two pitches when you're hitting against that. And it just seems like when you can eliminate one side of the plate, I know when I watched him in Milwaukee, he could throw the change up to both sides of the plate, right? I mean, and then you had to trust or respect at least the velocity, the maintaining of that pitch with the fastball. And when you don't have it, and again, you're being booed at home. And they're yelling for somebody else to come in and pitch, right? I mean, just imagine if the Jays lineup were in New York. Just imagine how that would be. Imagine how hard they were trying. And I hate to say this, and I think we got to clear this up. This is the worst game for me John's managed all year. He got away. The lineup bailed John Snyder out tonight. I hate to say that because, I'm a big fan of John's, and I think he's had a really good season up until today. Bringing Mason Fluharty in a tie game in the 8th inning with an out, taking out Jimmy Garcia is a very, very tough ask. And the two lefties that he's throwing against are hitting under 200. It's not like, and Jimmy thrown 13 pitches.
That's what I was going to say.
He was pitching
coming off an off day. He's coming off an off day.
Pitching around Judge a little bit, right? Because of who's standing on the on deck circle. I just, again, sometimes you got to have your lineup, your team bail you out a little bit. And what he's going to say is if I got Mason Fluharty and he's throwing to two dudes who are hitting under 200, and if George Springer, to John's credit, doesn't run a bad route in the outfield, it probably looks a little bit different. But just to put Mason in that spot, for me anyway, I just don't think you had to. I think Jimmy, the way he's throwing now, could have cleared that up, and you're looking at him throwing 20 pitches, and maybe he can come back tomorrow and maybe pitch get a big out for you in the 7th inning. But they won the game. I just wanted to throw that in there just because I think it needed to be said, at least with the game that I was watching.
We talked about
it
I feel. when we signed on to do this, and I felt the same thing. And, I typically don't make a habit of second-guessing John when it comes to his pitching because, by and large, I think he does a good job. But I'm with you. I get the whole pocket thing. But at some point, I've got to look at what my eyes are telling me. I've got to take what my eyes are telling me into account. And you're right. Jimmy Garcia can handle those two guys. It's at some point, it's not just the percentages. At some point, you're going with your best guy against their best guy. And again, 13 pitches. If he'd been laboring a bit, okay, I might be able to see that. But,
let me ask you a question.
I got to go with Jimmy Garcia.
Jimmy Garcia would have given up a home run to Bellinger. You think anybody would yell and scream about that? Absolutely not. That's the point.
No,
is sometimes on the road when you're handing the ball to a guy like Mason Fluharty, who nobody's ever heard of, and he's had a couple of good outings in a row, but it ain't been in Yankee Stadium. I played in that place. It's a little different. For a young guy, heart rate goes up a little bit. You start choking things off. Your pitches become a little bit more non-competitive. Bad things happen to you, sort of the way it looked there. I'm just saying, with the guy you had on the mound, where he was at, what the score of the game was, if I can get my lineup in there with a tie game, having a chance to get it to my closer, winning it in the 9th inning, I'd probably take those chances. But again, I'm picking at this, but I needed to say that because this is really the first game that I've seen John sort of make that move that you're like, really? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I am with you. 4-2, the Blue Jays have beaten the New York Yankees. Let's step away and come back. We'll hear from the manager. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll go to the phone lines. The text line, as always, is 590-590. It's Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch three-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here on Sportsnet.
The wait is over.
Round 1 begins with 5 Canadian teams in the hunt for Lord Stanley.
Away we go.
The Leafs take on the Senators.
Battle of Ontario.
The Capitals versus the Canadiens.
They're on their feet in Montreal.
The Jets against the Blues.
Winnipeg, this could be the year.
The Kings versus the Oilers.
Edmonton and Los Angeles rekindled a rivalry.
Watch the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's showtime.
Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or...
What's up, Blue Jays fans, baseball fans? We have a dandy here today. Our Toronto Blue Jays travel to the Bronx and Yankee Stadium to take on our rivals, our foes, the New York Yankees. Thank you for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Go Jays, go! It's going to be a great game, and we are so thankful that you chose to hang out here on Toronto Sports Insider.
Ever have a knowledge of the strike zone? Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand. Kirk's done it again. Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Marshall smashes the ball to right field. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
But that's huge, two huge caught ceilings, and the big hit obviously there in the ninth. But he's about as cool and calm as you get, and doesn't really budge. So it was nice to see him do that and then get the big hit.
And the first stolen base attempt, I believe, came in the first pitch with the new pitcher in the game. How difficult is that?
For who?
For the catcher. For the catcher.
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with, first move. I think he is very good at getting up to the throwing part of it, right? How quickly it comes out of the glove, how quickly he rotates his hips, how quickly he releases the baseball, and he's almost mastered that throw on the second base side of second base, which is, you want that. That's where you want to end up the throw, right? Where they're more tagging the fanny and the leg, because it's a little quicker, it's a little easier to throw. There's a little bit more room for error there. So I don't think that's as big a deal as it is just how quickly he can get the throw out and how accurate it can be to that side of the base. Give him credit, man. He's gotten really good at that. What is he's 5 for, I want to say 14 this year doing that, which is, that's borderline elite. So you got to give him credit for that. I'm happy for him that he got a big hit. He needed that. Yep. John is right. He's been grinding offensively, right? That slider down and away and that elevated heater giving him a mess of time. It just has been giving him a mess of time. Mechanically, with his lower half offensively, he just hasn't been real good, right? Rotation off the backside just has not consistently been there. That's went back to last year. That's why I was one of the guys raising my hand saying, hey, pump the brakes a little bit. Let's see if he can do it by, the heavier workload behind the plate. But we'll take that, man. That's good for him. They needed that big hit. Hopefully this is sort of, baseball is a bunch of confidence, Jeff. You know that better than anybody. Once you get confident and believe that you can win and produce, it will sort of carry over to the next day. And then that's part of it, I think, is contagious. And maybe that'll turn into 3 or 4 guys feeling that way. And that's exactly what they need, right? This is going to be tough to win this way and be consistent all year. How much pressure this puts on the manager to always make the right move and the pitchers that are coming in, always to make the right pitch. They're going to need to score a few more runs. But, boy, this has to be a good feeling for everybody in that dugout. I know you could tell Vladdy was super, super excited, right?
Time to take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard with Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. A pretty easy night to take a look at the AL East scoreboard, actually. Of course, the Jays beating the Yankees 4-2 in the Bronx. Boston and Cleveland, Baltimore and Detroit, they were rained out. Tampa Bay is on the West Coast against the San Diego Padres. They are leading 1-0. It is very early. So, as of this particular moment, the Yankees are 15-11. They're atop the division. The Red Sox are 14-13. The Jays are 13-13. Tampa Bay is 11-14. Baltimore is 10-14. They have a run differential of -27, only slightly better than the Chicago White Sox, and, a lot better than the Colorado Rockies. But to be honest, you and I, Kevin, are better in terms of run differential than the 4-20 Colorado Rockies.
Wow.
Minus 59 run differential already.
How'd you like to do that post-game show for old Rockies, Kit?
Oh, at times it has seemed like we've been doing the Colorado Rockies post. At least we'd have the mountains to look at.
Yeah,
at least we'd have the mountains to look at.
It's beautiful.
So it wouldn't be it wouldn't be entirely awful. But the Baltimore Orioles, probably a rain out against the Tigers probably counts as a win for them. But there you are. That is the Bet 365 out of town scoreboard. Kevin Gossman is scheduled to start against Max Fried tomorrow for the Yankees. There's some question as to whether or not that game will get going. The weather does not look good. There's a whole bunch of green and dark green and light green if you take a look at the weather radar for tomorrow in New York. But, of course, we will have that game on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 590 The Fan, and we will let you know, of course, when or if that game is canceled or postponed as soon as we know about it. So you can follow Sportsnet on X, and Hazel May is down there, and Dan Schulman, and they'll keep you informed. Shai Davidi, they'll keep you informed if the game does get rained out. So, Kevin, before we go, anything else you want to touch on just to put a bow in this?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I would think that Addison Barge would probably get a few more games under his belt. Maybe not tomorrow. Max Fried, if they play, it'd be pretty tough get for a lefty. So, but against righties, that pitch that he hit for the double, that was a decent pitch. Mm-hmm. He did a really good job of staying through that, right? I mean, he hit that off the end, and I think he's, strong enough to muscle that thing and have success doing it that way, right? I think John is searching for a guy who can sort of take his role and run with it, and maybe Barger's one of those guys. Look, Jeff, they got to figure out how to score more runs. They just got to get better at controlling the strike zone, right? I mean, Bo's still chasing, Vladdy's still chasing. You saw that in the first at bat. Tony looked a little bit better tonight, right? He looked a little bit more balanced. He lined out one time. Chisholm made a really good play off that line drive, but it's just the quality of the at-bats, the quality of the pitches that they shouldn't be swinging at has just not been very good. That needs to get better. They want to start slugging more. I'm starting to think it may not be the personnel. It just may be that, they're pressing a little and they're trying to do too much. So maybe they can zone in. If they don't zone in against Max Fried, he'll eat their lunch. Mm-hmm. That'll be a quick one, a real quick one. So hopefully they zone up, look right down the middle. What do you got to lose?
Absolutely. Speaking of quick ones, that's it for us. A quick and dirty version of Blue Jays Talk for Friday night. Thank you for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Hamilton on Denton Drive and downtown on Victoria Avenue. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection.
Major League Play-by-Play is now on SiriusXM Radio and online with the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game! It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet!
Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just walked it off.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my. The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball is high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
A ball, a bat, and a microphone. But no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
That's it! It's a World Series win for LA!
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio.
Right now on Sirius XM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up! Get up!
3.
Can you believe it?
Put your seatbelt on.
Wow.
Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM Channel 89, and online with the Sirius XM app.
52. Astros on internet 8:51. 8:10 p.m. Minnesota Twins face the LA Angels. Twins on Sirius 137 XM 181 and internet 8:57. Angels on internet 8:53. 8:15 p.m. St. Louis Cardinals face the Milwaukee Brewers. Cardinals on Sirius 138 XM 180 and internet 865. Brewers on internet 856. 8:40 p.m. Colorado Rockies take on the Cincinnati Reds. Rockies on Sirius 139 XM 182 and internet 849. Reds on internet 847. 9:40 p.m. Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Atlanta Braves. Diamondbacks on Sirius XM channels 89, internet 840. Braves on internet 842. 9:40 p.m. San Diego Padres take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Padres on Sirius 132 XM 184 and internet 862. Rays on internet 866. 9:40 p.m. Seattle Mariners take on the Miami Marlins. Mariners on Sirius 146 XM 183 and internet 864. Marlins on internet 855. 10:05 p.m. The A's face the Chicago White Sox with the A's feed on Sirius 85 XM 187 and internet 841. White Sox on internet 846. 10:10 p.m. LA Dodgers face the Pittsburgh Pirates. Dodgers on Sirius 108 XM 186 and internet 854. Pirates on internet 861. Spanish feed on Sirius 208 XM 175 and internet 870. 10:15 p.m. San Francisco Giants taking the Texas Rangers. Giants on Sirius 121 XM 185 and internet 863. Rangers on internet 867. Spanish feed on internet 871. For 24/7 coverage of Major League Baseball, from day one of the regular season to the final pitch of the World Series, keep it locked on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, Channel 89. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Friday, April the 25th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs take on the Philadelphia Phillies. Cubs on Sirius 208, XM 175, and internet 845. Phillies on internet 860. 6:40 p.m., Detroit Tigers face the Baltimore Orioles. Tigers on Sirius XM channels 89, internet 850. Orioles on internet 843. 6:45 p.m., Washington Nationals face the New York Mets. Nationals on Sirius 209, XM 176, and internet 869. Mets on internet 858. 7:05 p.m., New York Yankees face the Toronto Blue Jays. Yankees on Sirius 106, XM 178, and internet 859. Jays on internet 868. 7:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians face the Boston Red Sox. Guardians on Sirius 210, XM 177, and internet 848. Red Sox on internet 844. 7:40 p.m., Kansas City Royals take on the Houston Astros. Royals on Sirius 119, XM 179, and internet 852. Astros on internet 851. 8:10 p.m., Minnesota Twins face the LA Angels.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. Sirius XM, Channel 89.
The Pirates' Paul Skeens had a magnificent first season in MLB, and now on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio, host Jim Duquette was on to talk about how we should be ready for his second year.
Sandy Alcantara, the former Cy Young Award winner, coming back after missing last year with Tommy John surgery. Tarek Skubal and Blake Snell squaring off in L.A. late this afternoon on the East Coast, and that's 3 Cy Young Awards between the two of them. That's that's like the undercard, right? Is like Skeens, Alcantara, and then Skubal Snell almost feels like the undercard, which is weird to say, seeing as they have 3 times as many awards as that duo. I don't know. Like I feel like we brought up Skubal Snell the other day, and that's kind of the first conversation we'd had about it, but like I've known for a long time that it was going to be Skeens Alcantara. That seems to be the one that I think everybody's most, is it fair to say, curious about?
I mean, yeah, I think obviously because Skeens wasn't on the scene last year on opening day, like all right, what's a full season of Skeens look like? How does Sandy Alcantara look? You know, a full year off of pitching coming back from the injury.